Can I borrow your seal?
What for?
I gotta practice being a Navy frogman.
I thought you was going in the Army.
Yeah, me too. But I'm tired of waiting for them to call me. So I'm joining the Navy.
Well, what does a toad man do?
Not a toad man, a frog man.
What does a frog man do?
Mostly what you call underwater demolition. Blowing up stuff.
Well, what would you want with Raymond?
I want to see if I can learn him to fetch dynamite down to me.
Well, how would he carry it?
In his mouth.
Oh, no. My seal ain't coming no dynamite. Come on, Raymond.
Hey, well, wait a minute, Ellie. How about you being an enemy sentry?
Well, what do I have to do?
Well, you walk guard duty along the dock here. Then I reach out of the water, grab you, pull you in, and drown you. That's a frogman's surprise attack. Hey, now watch. Oh!
That for a surprise.
Enemy sentries ain't supposed to stomp a frogman's head. Oh, that dumb old girl.
This is the way we cook our mash, cook our mash, cook our mash. This is the way we cook our mash so early in the morning. This is the way we cook our mash.
Granny!
Ellie, don't scare me like that. If I was to have dropped this jar, we'd have cleared them bushes on the fly. This stuff is mean when it's green.
Paul says you wasn't to make no more moonshine.
Moonshine, this is my flu serum. He's expecting an epidemic, you know. And it's my duty as a doctor to be ready.
This cure the flu?
Well, it's more what you call a body conditioner. If your body can handle this, it can handle anything.
You're making medicine. Why do you have to hide like this?
Child, ain't you never hear of industrial espionage? Like one of the biggest outfits in the world has been trying to find this setup. Been trying for years.
Who's that?
The U.S. government. I gotta make a series of quality control tests. First, the shotgun test. Gotta see what kind of flavor it's got.
Why do you call it a shotgun test, Granny?
You gotta hold the shotgun on me to make me taste it.
I don't want to do that, Granny.
You got to, honey. I ain't as young as I used to be. And remember, it's for science. That's what you call real sipping whiskey.
Did you say whiskey?
Risky, risky. You sip this at your own risk. You see, this is just the base. I ain't put in my secret ingredients yet. I'll go fetch it.
Oh, want me to do it for you, Granny?
No, honey, it's a secret. You go take my wash off the line.
Oh, I already done that. It's in a basket on the steps.
Oh, thank you, honey. Throw out the lifeline. Someone is drifting away. Throw out the lifeline. Throw out the lifeline. Someone is sinking today. Get your gun. There's a monster in the cement pond.
Monster?
Great, big, black, slimy-looking thing. Must be 8 or 10 foot long.
Probably just Ellie's pet seal.
Do seals eat old women? This one reached up out of the water and grabbed me.
Maybe it's a rape.
Who ever heard of an underwater ape? This one's bigger than a gator. Must be 12 foot long. Has one great big bulging eye right in the center of his forehead. Big roots growing out of his mouth. Ugly growth on his back. Must be 15 feet long.
The monster's growing pretty fast.
You've seen him, have you?
I doubt if you have. Now sit down and tell me exactly what happened.
Well, I was coming from the still.
You were coming from where?
The hill.
I heard you the first time. Now, Granny, I told you not to make another batch of that moonshine.
I ain't, Ted. It's my shoe flu brew.
Shoe flu brew.
To head off the flu epidemic. It's a vegetable compound. made out of natural juices of corn and certain neutral spirits.
Ain't nothing neutral about them spirits. Now, you probably got your nose wet, too. Let me smell your breath.
Not while you're smoking.
I thought so.
Well, Jed, as a medical researcher, I'm duty-bound to test the stuff. Might have side effects.
Yes. Enough of that. You roll over on your side and stay there. Come on, Granny. We'll go down and dump that stuff.
Don't my wonder drug. Jed, do you want the people of Beverly Hills to be laid low?
No, I don't, so let's go.
Jed, you're going to set medicine back 100 years. Next, you'll be stomping out penicillin. Hey, it's a good thing Lydia Pinkham didn't have a son-in-law like you.
Granny, that flu brew has got you seeing monsters.
Oh, Jed, I was only joking. Can't a body tease you about a little old 15-foot monster without you getting all upset?
Now, did you see it or didn't you?
Oh, forget it. I declare you are worse than a snapping turtle. You bite at anything. That's the Mayo Clinic. Tell them I ain't quite ready yet.
Ed Clampett speaking.
Mr. Monster, are you in there? Was you for real? Or did I just run off a bad batch? I guess I tested it too soon. That green stuff plays tricks on you. Oh, out the lifeline, so out the lifeline, someone is drifting away. Oh, out the lifeline. Dad! I think I caught the monster! Dad, I think the monster caught me!
What happened to you?
I got pulled into the cement pond and perked near ground.
Who done it?
That heathen monster.
Heathen.
He hates him singing, Jed. Every time I do throw out the lifeline, he grabs me. This time he pulled me under. He's a sea serpent right out of the river Styx.
I hope he never gets in the river back home. He could sure break up a baptizing.
You don't believe I seen him, do you?
Of course I do. Enough of that liquid cornbread of yours, and you could see pink sea serpents.
I tell you, that's my wonder drug.
It sure is. It's got you wondering what drug you in.
He's coming after me.
Who is?
The creature from the cement pond. Pray, Jed, but quiet. The way a hymn sets him off, a prayer will drive him into a frenzy.
Hey, I believe that's Jethro inside that thing.
He ate my baby. Make him spit you out, boy.
Granny, that ain't no monster. Here's the boy's wearing some kind of a suit.
Sure had you going, though, didn't I, Granny?
You mean it was you who grabbed my pole and pulled me into the cement pond?
Yeah.
You was under the water?
Well, yes, sir. This outfit's got an air tank, flippers, mask, weights.
If it ain't got wings, I think you're in trouble. Granny, don't let go!
What'd you say, Jed?
Boy, old Jethro can sleep any place. He's laying out in the corn patch in his toad man suit.
That's what?
Oh, he says he's going to join the Navy and be a toad man. Or is he going to be a frog man?
He's gonna be a dead man if he scares me
Bless you, Granny.
You better change into some dry clothes, Granny. I'll look after Jethro.
Come on, Granny, I'll help you. You're catching a cold.
I hope it turns into the flu. I got a cure for that.
Boy, Uncle Jed, I hope the Navy never hears about this. Frogmen don't go around hanging up their granny's bloomers.
They don't go around yanking their granny in a pond, neither.
Yeah, well, I got the wash all hung up now. Now I'm going back to my training.
How come you'd pick this frogman work?
Well, what I really wanted to be was a submarine commander. But the surplus store didn't have no submarine.
Well, what's this sudden hankering to be underwater?
Well, I read where there's more food in the ocean than was ever growed on dry land. Well, in a few years, that's where all our victuals is coming from. Well, when that happens, I was going to know my way around the kitchen.
Well, that explains it.
Help me on with my mask, will you?
What you aiming to do?
I am going to destroy an enemy underwater installation.
How you aiming to do it?
I got a demolition charge set at the bottom of the pond. All I got to do is connect it and set it off.
Ain't that kind of dangerous underwater?
Uncle Jed, I am a frog man. Up here, I think like a man. But underwater, I think like a frog.
Well, that'll be a help.
No question about it, Daisy. You is coming down with the flu. But for the sake of humanity, you have got to be a human guinea pig to see if your flu serum works. Hope it ain't too green. But them's the chances us medical researchers has got to take. Oh, yeah. That is mellowed down real nice.
When he comes down, I gotta have a long talk with that boy.
Of course, Mr. Clampett, I understand. I'm sure Mr. Drysdale will want to rush right up and have a talk with Jethro. It's a miracle he wasn't hurt. Well, what broke his fall? Oh, his head. Oh, fine. All right, bye. Excuse me, Chief.
Miss Hathaway, I told you never to disturb me when I'm reading Superbanker.
With all due respect, Chief, I think my news is slightly more important than a comic book.
Comic book? This happens to be great, inspiring literature. The story of Harold Hart. In everyday life, a mild-mannered bank president. But when our economy is in danger, he slips into his vault and emerges as Money Man. A great American hero. Faster than a foreclosure. Stronger than an armored car. Able to leap the national debt with a single bound.
I know all about your cartoon Croesus. Look, up in the sky. It's a missile. It's a green tornado. It's Money Man.
You don't like it because of his secretary, Dora Dents. She is so dumb that she doesn't know her boss, the mild-mannered bank president, is really Money Man. The benefactor who secretly paid for her nose job.
It is pure drivel.
She doesn't even know the office messenger is Money Man's sidekick, Golden Boy.
If you don't mind, I have an urgent message from Mr. Clampett.
Imagine being able to turn into pure 24-karat gold. Message from who?
J.D. Clampett.
Oh, why didn't you say so? What is it?
It seems that Jethro is trying to become a Navy frogman.
What's wrong with that?
Well, so far he's almost drowned Granny, knocked himself unconscious with his air tank, and blown himself out of the swimming pool.
That nut.
Clampett wants us to help get Jethro interested in something else.
This is a job for Money Man.
What are you talking about?
I'm taking him a bunch of these super banker books.
Chief.
Oh, wait till he reads that exciting episode where Money Man is locked into mortal combat with his arch foe taxman.
Chief, Jethro has a 6th grade education. He won't read these. He's too intelligent.
Oh, looking for a nose job, Dora.
All right, seriously. If you think comic books will help divert the boy, let's give him something really thrilling.
What could be more thrilling than trying to outwit the Internal Revenue Service?
Come along, vile-mannered bank president.
That's mild-mannered, imbecile. Oh, why can't I have a messenger who turns to gold instead of a secretary who's all brass to begin with?
Hey, Jethro, where'd you get all them there comic books?
Mr. Drysdale and Miss Jane fetched them over to me.
Well, where's your Toadman suit?
Frogman. What's left of it's out back. You can make it into slingshots.
Well, ain't you gonna do no more underwater dynamiting?
No, sir, no.
What's that sloshing noise?
Did you hear it, too?
Sure did. I think you got a head full of water.
That's it. The Navy can have them underwater victuals. I'm going to the moon.
Moon, what for?
That's what for. That whole planet is covered with nothing but these here beautiful moon maidens.
Well, how do you know?
Would they print it in a comic book if it weren't true? I'm going to be the first man to land on that rascal.
How do do you aim to get there?
I'm gonna buy me one of them great big space rockets.
Now remember, Mr. Drysdale, I aim to pay for anything Jethro needs.
Mr. Clement, please, that could run into millions.
Oh, it's only money.
Steady, super banker.
Like I said, I don't want the government paying for Jethro's military training when they is in debt and I got so much.
You're a real patriot, Mr. Clabbett.
Well, thank you. Now, I have heard him mention he wants a submarine.
Submarine?
Here, this will bring him around.
Thanks. I needed that. Mr. Clammett, I have an idea that can solve all our problems. We'll get Jethro in the reserve.
Reserve?
Yes, they'll give him tests to determine how he can best serve his country.
Well, that's what we want, all right, but how's he go about joining?
Get in. We'll go down to reserve headquarters and talk to him.
Well, hadn't we ought to take Jethro with us?
Oh, no. He'll be better off right here.
Okay. I'll get me a trailer, come by and pick it up right away. Thank you. Bye.
Well, if it ain't Charlie Tuna.
Guess what, Granny? I'm gonna get me a rocket and go to the moon.
You pull me in the pond one more time and I'll put you there without a rocket.
I'm all through with that underwater stuff. Man don't live by victuals alone. Moon maidens, here I come.
Boy, Jethro, where'd you get this thing?
Same place I got the tank?
Well, you better unhook that rocket, because Granny wants you to tote her flu medicine down to the Red Cross.
I ain't no delivery boy. I'm an astronaut. I got history to make. You tell the Red Cross to come here and pick it up.
Well, Granny will take a hickory switch to you.
Well, it better be a long one, because I'm going to be on the moon. Boy, that's the place for me. Acres and acres of green cheese, swarming with beautiful women. Betwixt the necking and the snacking, I'm going to be real busy.
When are you coming back?
Who's coming back?
Well, you better ask Pa before you go a-taking off.
King of the Moon don't have to ask.
Who's that?
Jethro the First. Come on, Ellie, give me a hand.
What are you fixing to do?
I'm fixing to aim this rascal at the moon. Now, let's see. It's usually between the elm and the sycamore. Blowing for wind. Got to lead it a little. That ought to do it. Let's commence the countdown. Let's see, the mouse's hands is on 10 and 3.
That means it's 10 minutes to 3.
I know that. What you gotta watch is the mouse's tail. That's the second hand. See? It goes up to the 12.
Yeah.
There, 0 minus 60 seconds and counting. Time to put on my astronaut suit and load my rocket fuel.
Where is the rocket fuel?
Oh, man, I plumb forgot to buy any. Doggone!
Well, as long as you ain't going to the moon, you can go to the Red Cross. Come on, I'll help you load Granny's barrel in the tank.
I ain't getting in no tank without distilled dynamite.
Granny says it's medicine.
I don't care what she calls it. One jolt and that stuff will blow me higher than the... That's it! Ellie, quick, get me a rubber hose. I done found my rocket fuel.
What's that thing?
This here's a life jacket in case I land in the Sea of Tranquility. 0 minus 10 seconds and counting. Moon rocket to Earth crew. All systems go. Prepare to commence ignition.
What does that mean?
Light the fuse.
Granny's gonna be awful mad.
I'll send her a package of cheese. 0 minus 5 seconds and counting. Clear the area for blast off.
I hope this batch is as good as the last. Eat your heart out, Jack Daniels.
So far, the origin of the manned rocket which streaked across Southern California skies and plunged into the ocean near Point Magoo remains a complete mystery. The Navy, the Air Force, and the Army all deny any knowledge of... Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. We switch you now to our news helicopter where our cameras are recording the dramatic air-to-sea rescue of the rocket's mysterious pilot. In just a few moments, we will know his identity. Is he from outer space? Is he ours? Is he theirs?
He's mine. I want first crack at that medicine moocher.
Slow down, Granny. The boy's going in the reserve.
First he's going in the woodshed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pilot has been pulled aboard the rescue helicopter, and we will now hear his first words. Come in, Navy helicopter.
Hey, we're all the Moon Maidens.
Granny, could Mr. Drysdale have a shot of your flu serum?
You feeling poorly, Mr. Drysdale?
Oh, no, I feel wonderful.
Wait until you see this, super banker.
What is it?
A bill for that rocket?
Make that a double, Granny.
Look, he's turning into Money Man. He's getting all green.
Chief, I am trying to drive. And besides, we're already late for Jethro's farewell breakfast.
Farewell breakfast. He's not going into the Army Reserve today. He's only going for an interview and a qualification test.
I know, but the Clampetts think he's going. And besides, we have already kept them waiting because you had to stop and buy those stupid comic books.
Super Banker is not a stupid comic book. It's the thrilling adventures of Harold Hart. In everyday life, a mild-mannered bank president. Oh, shut up. This is inspirational literature.
Oh, come now. A bank president who sneaks into his vault and comes out as Money Man?
Yes, Money Man. A patriot that fights for the things that make this country what it is. Baseball, mom's apple pie, hot dogs, second mortgages, hidden interest charges. In this week's episode, he's headed for France to stop the gold drain.
Any bank president who comes out of his vault looking like money is headed for South America.
You are coming dangerously close to seditious slander. Money Man is a national hero.
Only to you. To everybody else, he is an odious, imbecilic, nickel-nursing nut!
That does it. Now pull over and stop this car.
What for?
I am making a citizen's arrest. You bet. I am charging you with high treason. We're going to the FBI office in the federal building.
Oh, sit down. We are going to Jethro's farewell breakfast in the fancy eating room.
When are we going to give Jethro his presents and make our speeches, Paul?
Well, seeing it don't take the boy long to eat, maybe we'd best commence right now. Jethro, I know how you must feel this morning. Leaving home for the first time is a mighty solemn occasion. And I reckon your heart is full and there's a lump in your throat. We're mighty proud of you, and we know that you must be proud, too. Proud and happy at this chance to serve the country that has been so good to all of us. You have heard your country's call to duty, and this is your answer. Well, I reckon that's enough talking. I'll show you how I feel.
Don't shoot him, Jen. I ain't said my speech yet.
I ain't gonna shoot him, Granny. I just want to give him a squirrel gun. Jethro, my pa gave this gun to me, and his pa gave it to him. I think it's only fitting that I pass it along to... Boy. Soldier.
Uncle Jed, you going hunting?
I'm just making you a going-away present of this rifle.
Well, thank you.
Now, I know the Army sets a great store by sharpshooting. And old Nellie here can bark a squirrel and... All right, Granny, you give it a try.
Mr. President, members of Congress, fellow delegates, honored guests, distinguished visitors. What's wrong with her?
Nothing. She's been reading speeches all week.
I think Thomas Jefferson expressed the emotions of all of us when he said, roll in flour, salt to taste, fry in deep fat.
Bring it on, Granny.
Oh, that's That's my directions for frying chicken.
Keep going, Granny. You're the first one to get his attention.
Oh, I can't make a speech, but I would like to say a few words about my present. Jethro, I want you to wear this uniform with pride and valor, like my granddaddy wore it in the Great War.
Granny, that's a Confederate uniform.
You bet it is. And this is the sword he used to defend our country when the North invaded America.
I'll slip out and answer the door.
It's decorated on the field of battle following our great victory at Gettysburg. And this medal was given to him by General Lee after the final Yankee defeat at Appomattox.
Granny, the Yankees wasn't defeated. It was the South.
What did you say?
I keep telling you, Granny. The North won. General Grant whooped General Lee.
Well, howdy, folks. Come in.
Oh, Mr. Clampett, I'm so sorry we're late for Jethro's farewell breakfast.
Oh, that's all right. I know you got a lot of important things to tend to.
Important things. We stopped to pick up the latest edition of Super Banker comic book.
Don't blame her too much. He's really hooked on it.
What?
He's every woman's hero.
Of all the unmitigated...
That's all right, Miss Jane. You're just in time to hear Granny's farewell speech to Jethro.
Gateway!
Blue Lady Carpetbagger!
She must have made a very moving speech.
Yeah, I ain't seen the boy move that fast in a long time.
What was Jethro carrying?
His breakfast. He ain't one to let saving his life standing away eating.
Hi, come back. Oh, howdy, Miss Jane, Mr. Drysdale.
Ellie?
I didn't have a chance to give Jethro my present.
Well, we'll get to that. Y'all go in the fancy eating room. I'll go fetch back the guest of honor and the Speaker of the House.
What are you giving him, Ellie?
Well, I made him a whole box of ladyfingers. He likes a snack between bites.
You mean between meals?
Not Jethro.
Well, here's my little going-away present, soldier boy. Something to decorate your barracks.
Thanks, Miss Jane. Oh, what is it?
It's a pin-up picture of me.
Please, not while we're eating.
Wow! A dog!
Let's see.
Boy, Miss Jane, in a bathing suit, you're a different woman.
How true, how true. Oh, here's my present, Jethro. Now, I know you have an appointment down at Reserve Headquarters, so I won't make any speeches.
Hey, will you look at this? Hey, what is it, Mr. Drysdale?
That, my boy, is a money man piggy bank. You see, he has the hole in his head.
How true, how true.
I'll show you how it works. When you drop in the dime, the eyes light up.
That's real cunning.
Sure is. Here's my present, Jethro.
Well, thanks, Ellie. Hey, what is it?
Well, I went and see. I made it myself.
Hey, Uncle Jim, will you look at this? Ellie made me bullets for your rifle.
That was ladyfingers. Give me a sword, Granny.
Well, I'm off to the reserve. Bye.
Don't stand there, Miss Hathaway. Get him, bring him back.
Yes, the dear boy forgot his picture.
Never mind that. My dime is still in that bank.
Make your country proud of you, boy. Remember, you're a Tennessee volunteer. Come on, Ellie. Let's get the flag and the rest of the stuff.
Yes, sir, Granny.
We've been ripping up petticoats to make bandages.
Uncle Jed, I can't show up at the Army Reserve looking like this. What are they going to think?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You ain't going to be just another face in the crowd. Bet you it ain't every day they get a boy in a Confederate uniform toting a squirrel rifle that shoots ladyfingers.
Uncle Jed, what am I going to tell them?
Tell them the truth. Tell me you wore it to please a sweet, sentimental little old gray-haired granny who would break your leg if you didn't.
Can't you convince her that the Civil War is over and that the South lost?
No, I can't, and I ain't going to try. At my age, a broke leg don't mend too fast.
Sir, I hope you won't go to laughing at the uniform right off.
Ah, looks great to me.
But this is a Confederate uniform.
Yeah, I know. Sit down. I'll tell the colonel you're here. Excuse me, Colonel. The studio has started to send over those Civil War soldiers.
We're supposed to come in till after lunch.
No, the first boy's here.
They'll probably be straggling in all day. All right, send him in.
Sir, are you going to be casting any Southern belles?
I'm not casting. I'm just the technical advisor.
Why couldn't you be an expert on bikinis instead of Civil War uniforms?
Send the boy in. And, Sergeant, for your information, it's not just uniforms. It's all equipment.
Sir, you ought to go down to the beach sometime. There's some mighty fine equipment running around with those.
Send the boy in.
Step right in here, Stonewall.
Turn around. Excellent. Very authentic. Tennessee Volunteers.
Well, how'd you know?
That's my job. Let me see the gun. Oh, I can't let you use this.
Why not?
Too good, too modern. Okay, you can go now. You're in.
In the Army?
That's correct.
I'm gonna fight.
You sure are. You're going to get licked, but not until you put up a real scrap.
Well, excuse me, sir, but who am I gonna be fighting?
The Union Army.
Where?
Culpeper Plantation. You rebels will be dug in, and Grant's troops will surround the place.
Well, where's the Culpeper Plantation?
Somewhere up in Beverly Hills. You'll be taken there. We don't want the public to know where the shooting's going to be.
You mean it's gonna be the Civil War all over again?
It better be. That's what I'm being paid for.
Well, when's all this gonna commence?
Monday morning. Didn't they tell you anything?
No, sir.
Well, you'll find out soon enough. I've said too much already.
Can't I take my gun?
I told you no. With guns like that, the South would win the war. They hired me, so mistakes like that won't happen. See you Monday.
It's lonesome without Jethro.
I don't want to talk about him, Ellie. Going off to war without his country's banner.
Granny! Uncle Jed!
He's come back for it, Granny. His conscience is hurting him.
More likely his stomach is hurting him. He ain't et in 2 hours. See? Right to the icebox.
Hey, Granny, I got news for you.
Bare your head in the presence of the grand old flag.
Sorry,
Hey, how come you're home from the reserve so quick?
because I found out who these reserves for. The Yankees.
What?
The North is gonna commence fighting again.
No.
Yep, I heard the whole scheme down at headquarters.
You mean they didn't learn their lesson at Gettysburg and Appomattox?
All I know is they's fixing to attack the first thing Monday morning.
Where?
Right here in Beverly Hills. A place called a Culpeper's Plantation.
Well, where's that?
Well, they wouldn't tell me. Said they didn't want the people to know where the shooting was gonna be.
My dingies. Them Yankees meant it.
Meant what, Granny?
For years they've been muttering the North will rise again. Well, this time we'll nip their rebellion in the bud. Where's your gun?
They took it away from me.
What?
They said it was too good. Said the South could win with guns like that.
Why, them dirty, thieving Yankee bushwhackers.
Let's get Pa and go down there and whoop him.
Yeah, let's go, Granny.
No, young'uns, it might be a trap. Now, as for Jed, he's got a blind spot when it comes to the Yankees. He always says, let sleeping dogs lie. Well, they've lied for the last time.
What are we gonna do, Granny?
Well, first we gotta get some information. Where the plantation is and the Yankee plan of battle.
Well, how are we gonna get it, Granny?
Did you ever hear of Belle Boyd, the beautiful Confederate spy?
No, ma'am.
Well, she proved that a pretty face and a stunning figure could always loosen them Yankees' tongues. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good. You stay here and finish the dishes, and Jethro will drive me down.
Ready to go, Granny.
Jethro, go change your clothes. If they see me consorting with a Confederate, they'll know I'm a spy.
Yes, Granny.
It beats me how the South won with boys like that.
Boy, Granny, you're something else.
You ain't just whistling Dixie. One look at my everything they know. And if the cap don't get them, the coat will.
Granny, I'm all done with my dishes. Can I please come along?
No, honey. In the dangerous game of toying with a man's emotions, there's no substitute for experience. And I need all I can get. It's been a long time.
Well, couldn't I just watch and see how you vamp them, fella?
On one condition.
Well, what's that?
The tricks I learn you can drive a man stark, raving mad. You gotta promise to only use them in the defense of your country.
I promise.
All right.
Well, I best go put on a dress. I wouldn't want him to think I was a boy.
Beats me how the South won with girls like that.
Okay, fellas, you want to step inside, please? Sergeant, have you been to lunch?
No, sir.
Well, you go ahead. I'll manage.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Excellent. Can you ride?
Yes, sir. I've done some cowboy parts.
Oh, hey, that's something I wanted to ask about. The script calls for me to ride. Do I have to?
Well, you certainly can't go charging up to Culpeper Plantation in a Jeep.
Well, what about a buggy?
It looks like I'm going to be spending some time with General Grant. Do you mind sitting in for the sergeant?
Not at all.
Thank you. I'm expecting some more people.
Any Southern belles?
Dozens of them. You and Sergeant O'Hara. Here, take this with you. Hold it, General. You'd better get used to smoking these cigars they gave you.
Cigars make me dizzy.
You don't smoke cigars and you don't ride. Do you drink?
Only very dry martinis.
Will you tell me something? Who cast you for this part?
Cousin Abe.
You're the producer's cousin?
That's right.
Well, I am being paid to come up with a reasonable facsimile of General Grant and his men, so between now and Monday morning, you're going to smoke a lot of cigars and ride a lot of horses. Do you ride, Colonel?
Yes, sir. I've been riding all my life.
Who cast you?
My revered father-in-law, sir.
You're married to Abe's daughter?
I have that great honor.
You know, the South may win this time.
Jethro was right. It's a Yankee soldier. Do. You hang back and watch. I'll soften him up. Hello there, soldier boy.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you come in.
That's the way I work, Sonny.
If you're here to see Colonel Blake, it'll be a few minutes. He's inside talking to General Grant and his men.
Grant?
Yeah, they're getting ready for the big battle on Monday. Say, haven't I seen you at Columbia?
No. She's never been to Columbia, Tennessee in her whole life.
Columbia, Tennessee?
She's a northern girl. She comes from Boston.
Well, how do you do?
Howdy. That's Boston talk. She lives on Bacon Hill. Say, I saw a soda pop machine down the hall. Why don't you two Yankees go down there and have a drink?
Would you answer the telephone?
Oh, sure I will.
If the Colonel asks for me, you tell him I'll be right back.
Take your time, Sonny. Can't be Ulysses S. Grant. He couldn't live this long, especially the way he hit the bottle.
I'm so dizzy I'll never be able to get on that horse.
It's him.
Come on, let's go over this battle plan. Now, concentrate on this map. Here's the Culpeper Plantation.
I don't know how to read a map. Besides, I can hardly stand up.
That's how he lost Richmond.
Now, the first attack on the Confederate position will come at dawn on Monday.
Dawn, I'm having a party Sunday night.
I can lead the attack, sir. I make a dashing figure on a horse.
Listen, Colonel Chitlin, with that accent of yours, we're going to put you in a Confederate uniform.
Same old bunch of Yankees, still fighting dirty.
Why can't we have the attack Tuesday morning?
Because my orders are Monday.
Well, I'm going to get in touch with Abe.
Abe! Oh, you're back. Come on, Ellie.
When can I see you again?
After the war. Jen!
Granny, where you been and where'd you get my gun?
General Grant's headquarters. What? General Ulysses S. Grant is alive and planning to attack the Culpepper's plantation like dawn on Monday.
I think you've had enough of that.
Don't knock it, Jed. You ought to see what it's done for Grant.
Where you going?
I'm going to warn the Culpeppers that Grant is coming.
You'd have to be pretty near 150 years old. This is the wildest thing I ever heard.
That ain't nothing. Wait till you hear who else is alive. Old Abe himself.
Granny, we gotta count this rascal.
Yes, Jethro, we have to count every critter on the place. And hide them in the cellar, because if we don't, the Yankee soldiers will steal them.
Even a bear?
Why, you can't hardly find a bear in Georgia. Ever since Sherman's retreat to the sea.
How's this, Granny?
Then he can slip into the Union ranks and spy for us.
Abe?
You'll never spot him. He'll be just one of the crowd.
Ride with Sergeant like you said, Granny.
Don't worry, Ellie. With his brains, the Yankees will promote him to a major by sundown.
It's 3 o'clock.
A born Yankee if I ever seen one.
What in the blue blazes?
Take that pig down to the cellar.
Yes, ma'am.
Ellie, you get the others down there, too.
Yes, Granny. Come on, Bessie.
No. Leave the blue-leg sergeant here. Nothing will stampede stop like the sight of a Yankee uniform.
Down in the cellar, everybody.
Granny, what's going on down there?
Nothing. Go back to bed.
You know it's 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, I do. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. There, go back to bed.
What's all them critters doing in the house?
We're hiding the livestock from Grant's army. In my granny's days, we had woods and swamps to hide in. But when you live in a hole like Beverly Hills, you gotta make do.
Come on, Bertha.
Granny, have you still got it in your craw that General Grant is alive?
Alive. And planning to attack the Culpeper plantation this morning at dawn. I heard him say so.
You heard General Grant?
I heard him and seen him. Right down at Army Reserve headquarters where Jethro went. He was smoking a big stogie and stewed to the gills.
Granny, think a minute. General Grant would have to be close to 150 years old.
And he ain't got a gray hair in his head.
Smoking, drinking man, living to be 150? How could that be?
The only way I can explain it is that he was smoking Virginia tobacco and drinking Tennessee whiskey. Where do you go?
I'm going back to bed.
You mean you ain't going to fight with your family?
I've been fighting with you for 2 days.
I mean shoulder to shoulder against Grant and his bushwhacking foreigners.
Granny, supposing that all this nonsense you've been talking is true, why would the North want to commence a fracas in Los Angeles?
So they can attack under cover of smog. This is your last chance. After the war, it's going to go hard on you, Yankee sympathizers.
Sure do appreciate this, Miss Jane.
My pleasure.
Looks like I'm going to be on time for the board of directors meeting after all.
Did you ever find out what happened to Jethro?
Well, likely Granny's got him and Ellie out scouting for Yankees.
Does Granny honestly believe that the North is going to reopen the Civil War?
She does.
Well, can't you talk her out of it?
Miss Jane, mules come to Granny for stubborn lessons. She vows and declares she's seen General Ulysses S. Grant over at the Army Reserve headquarters.
It's a fine time to show up with a hangover.
You were supposed to be at the Culpeper plantation at dawn this morning.
I couldn't find it.
They would have taken you there from the studio.
I couldn't find a studio either.
Well, where did you get into your makeup?
Who's wearing makeup?
This beard is real?
Oh, please, that hurts.
Your beard hurts?
Even my hair is sore.
Oh, fine. You're in no condition to shoot.
Oh, yes, I am. Here, would you please? What was that?
The telephone.
Oh, wait here. Either answer it or shoot it.
Colonel Blake speaking. Okay, put him on. You're in for it now. The producer is calling.
Tell Cousin Abe hello.
Hello, Abe. Yes, he staggered in here a few minutes ago. I'll ask him. Where have you been for the last 2 days?
Bull Run.
He doesn't have any idea where he's been. Really? The director just walked off the picture.
I'll have him shot.
But, Abe, you just hired me as a technical advisor. I'm a Civil War expert, not a movie director. Well, yes, I suppose I could direct the battle scene for you. I'll do it only on one condition, that I'm the absolute boss. That means your cousin with a beard ache will have to do exactly as I say. The deal? Fine. Bye, Abe. On your feet, General. Hangover Green is going to war. All right, General. This is your last ride in the car for a few days. From now on, wake up!
Where are we?
This is the Culpeper plantation, which you are going to capture with a death-defying charge.
Oh.
They've got the white horse ready for you.
Oh, great. And not too much soda.
You're going to ride it, not drink it.
Instead of a white horse, could I have a white flag? I'd like to surrender now.
Colonel Blake?
Yes?
Yes, I'm Foster Finney, your assistant.
Oh, glad to meet you.
What can I do to help?
Well, you can send these technical fellows and all this equipment back to the studio. We're going to spend the rest of the day just rehearsing the action.
Yes, sir.
And there are still a few mistakes in some of the uniforms.
May I go back to
Get on the horse. You're the biggest mistake in uniform.
I don't know how to ride.
We'll teach you. Now, you're going to charge down that hill past the overseer's house through a hail of bullets. Gallop up to this mansion and demand the surrender of the Confederate commander.
I don't want all the glory. Why can't my aide gallop through the hail of bullets?
I would be happy to demand the surrender of the rebels, sir.
I thought I told you to change into a Confederate uniform.
The producer of this picture, my esteemed father-in-law, said I could be on the winning side.
Doesn't Abe ever run out of relatives? With old cousin Bright Eye here leading the charge, it may not be the winning side.
Nevertheless, with your kind permission, sir, I will be honored to deliver the surrender ultimatum.
Listen, Colonel, with that accent, the only thing you can deliver is a bucket of fried chicken.
Colonel Blake, I've dismissed the crew and they're loading the equipment.
Good. Now, have one of the Confederate soldiers change uniforms with Colonel Chitlin here.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. The Confederates aren't here yet. The studio bus broke down.
Oh, boy. How soon will they be here?
Pretty soon. They're coming on foot.
What a war. Get on the horse!
Hey, look coming up the street.
Confederate soldiers. It's our glorious boys in gray. Hide that Yankee, eh, Billy?
He's out of sight, Granny.
Hello, boys. Are you headed for the Culpeper plantation?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is it?
Just up the street.
Well, you better get a move on. General Grant's likely took the place by now.
The last I heard, they won't start shooting till after lunch.
That'll give us time to get our weapons and join you. Hold out till we get there. V for Vicksburg!
Just pull
me Beauregard.
But aren't you supposed to be at that board of directors meeting with Mr. Clavitt?
I was there just long enough to learn the situation. Granny is planning to battle General Grant and the Union Army. And we Southerners must stick together in this hour of peril.
You big phony. You were born in Chicago.
South Chicago.
I know this whole thing is just a figment of Granny's imagination.
But a golden opportunity for you all truly. Never again will she draw her money from my bank and stuff it in her mattress. Never again will she urge my largest depositor to secede from California and return to the hills. Granny can never forget that when she sounded the alarm, one lone, brave, magnificent figure in gray stepped forward to stand at her side, unflinching, undaunted, and unscrupulous. Get into your uniform.
Mr. Drysdale.
General Milburn, Beauregard, Nathan Bedford, Stonewall, Drysdale, at your service.
Are you on our side?
I am on the side of truth, justice, honor, and victory.
That's our side. Bless you. You're the first to rally to our cause.
I even brought my orderly. Step in here, Private.
Oh, the poor boy. He's nothing but skin and bone. Have you been in prison, son?
Yes, the Commerce Bank.
Miss Jane.
Just one of the many faithful employees who beg to follow their beloved general into battle.
Would you like to have a gun?
Oh, boy, would I.
Mr. Drysdale, I owe you an apology. I always thought that you was a man that only cared about money.
Perish the thought.
And here you are, leaving your bank to fight for the USA.
Yeah. USA?
Undefeated Southerners of America.
Yes. Oh, I only hope I meet Grant face to face.
Let's drink to that.
Not for me, Granny. I haven't had lunch.
I've got some battle rations in the pantry yonder.
No, thank you.
Go get some, yard bird.
What's the matter, Miss Jane? Don't you like jerky?
What can I say? I work for him.
Say when, Beauregard.
Who? Oh, no, thank you, Granny. I'll just have some of your delicious coffee.
A soldier's entitled to a little nip just before the battle. General Grant drinks plenty.
Yes, that must be true.
Grant's got the only army that travels on its liver.
What's that?
The oven timer. Hey, Granny, your mini balls is done.
You and Miss Jane take care of it. I gotta fill my first aid kit.
This is your first aid kit?
Alcohol is a dandy antiseptic, especially when it's applied internally.
Granny, I got the stock fed and watered and... Mr. Drysdale!
General Drysdale, Ellie. And over yonder is Private Hathaway.
Y'all are fighting with us, huh?
Like tigers.
Well, come on, everybody. Ready to go.
Where are we going?
To lick out General Grant.
Oh, sure. Let's go. Fall in behind your general.
Okay, start the attack. Okay, send Grant down the hill again.
Rally, men! Rally! Follow me!
Congratulations. That time you almost made it all the way down the hill.
Are you sure Grant never used a buggy?
I'm very sure. Now let's try it again. And this time, if you fall off, draw your pistol and lead the charge on foot. Now, a sniper on that roof will shoot off your hat. You fire at him, and he'll fall in those cotton bales. That'll be the cue for the cannon to open up. They'll blow off the front door. You fight your way through the rest of the Confederates, dash into the mansion, and overpower the commanding officer.
Okay. If I'm going to do all of that, I've got to have a double.
Nothing doing. It's going to be you.
I mean a double martini.
Get on that horse.
I can't keep taking those falls.
You're wearing enough padding to stop a bullet. Come on up. And pick up your wardrobe on the way up there. And please, this time, try not to lose your hat.
All right, now let's have another rehearsal. And this time with the cannon.
What's all that racket?
Sounds like gunfire.
That sneaky Grant is attacking early. What time is it, Jethro?
Attacking? Let's see. The mouse's hands is on 11 and 2. And his tail is moving down towards the 6. That means...
Never mind. We'll lose the war waiting for Hickory Dickory Dock. Take the guns, Jethro. We'll move in on foot, and we'll turn your flank. Come on, General. This is your chance.
What are you talking about?
Them Yankees brung in a cannon.
Yeah, them Confederate soldiers didn't have none.
You mean someone is actually shooting
Here the guns, Granny.
Lead us to glory, Beauregard. And if you fall in battle, we'll see that you rest in a hero's grave.
I got this.
Look at that. He's gonna lead us with cold steel. We'll follow you into the jaws of death.
All right, everybody. Back to your places. Hello, Foster. I'm coming up on top of the hill this time. I want to get a bird's eye view of this fiasco.
Everything's quiet.
It sounds like the battle's over.
That cannon turned the tide. It's too late.
Oh, what a shame. Robbed of my finest all.
Maybe there's still some Yankees there. Let's go jump them.
Yeah.
Lead us, General.
Well, it just so happens my soldier...
Never mind, Beauregard. By now, the Yankees have looted the place and moved on. That's their way.
Just let me reap my vengeance on them Blue Devils. Oh, my name isn't Milburn Beauregard, Nathan Bedford Stonewall.
Chicken Drysdale.
Our boys have rallied. Charge!
They went that way, General.
I just remembered. I didn't brush my teeth this morning.
Our side's winning, Granny. Yeah, the Yankees are falling back.
Hey, look, yonder comes General Grant.
Rally, men! Rally!
That devil! He's turning the top. Give me the gun. I wanted him alive. I ain't got no choice.
Dropped you, Granny.
Naturally.
Look, he's getting up.
I must have got him in the liver. That's what I've done, all right. It's gotta be cast iron after 150 years of drink.
My aching back.
Charge!
Granny, he's got a pistol.
Reload for me, honey.
I'll get him, Grant.
Just give him Jethro. He's mine.
Hey, that's pretty close, Charlie.
He's not one of our boys.
You reloaded, Granny.
You didn't drop him, Granny.
I forgot. He's had 150 years of riding, too.
It's that Yankee cannon.
They blowed out the front door.
Let's see where they're firing from. I'm gonna capture that rascal.
Load them with mini balls, Jethro. Give them Yankees a taste of grape.
Look, Granny, General Grant's headed for the house. But this rifle ain't reloaded.
Hand me my shotgun. He's tough, but this'll stop him. Bullseye.
This is an aching back.
You make a dandy bullet, Ellie. Cover me, Ellie. I'll think we can do it again. Charge up!
Well, we'd better do what she says. She's one of Abe's relatives. Charge, man!
Lost the battle, General Grant, but they're a brave foe, and I aim to save them. I've done my duty as a soldier, now comes my duty as a doctor. Here, this will keep Ladyfinger's poison from setting in.
Did you say poison?
Not this stuff. Look! Just a minute. I've been through a battle, too.
Oh, I see. They were just shooting the movie. Well, look, Miss Jane, let's not say nothing to Granny. This has been the biggest thing in her life. I just hope she wasn't too rough on General Grant. She had blood in her eye when she went...
Jed! I want you to meet an old buddy of mine, General Ulysses S. Grant.
S for Shenandoah. Most beautiful valley in all the world.
Yulie, honey, why did you let Phil Sheridan plunder it like you done?
That's all right, Daisy. Don't you worry. Next time I see him, I'll have him shot.
Shall we drink to that?
Immediately.
Jane, I think the North and the South have done patched things up for a while.
Away, away, away.
Good morning, Mr. Clampett.
How's everything down to Army Reserve?
Much better, now that I've almost finished my work on that Civil War movie.
Oh, I understand Grant and the young uns jumped right in the middle of that battle scene you were directing. I'm awful sorry about that.
It was just a rehearsal. Besides, Granny did me a big favor when she captured General Grant. Yes, he's the producer's cousin, and a terrible actor.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't let on to Granny that he was just an actor. You see, she thinks she captured the real Ulysses S. Grant.
He didn't tell her?
Well, no. You see, they had a few sips out of Granny's jug, and he wound up thinking he really was Ulysses S. Grant. Before it was over, he'd apologize for Vicksburg, give back Richmond, and promise to shoot Sherman for burning Atlanta.
Jed, it's that Yankee lover.
Now, Granny.
It's true, Jed. It was in his office that I heard General Grant planning the attack on the Culpeper plantation. And he was giving him advice.
Well, Granny, that was my job. I was...
He was outranked.
Yes, you see, I'm only a colonel, and when the general asked me for advice, it was my job to give it to him.
Now, don't go putting the blame on Yulie.
Yulie?
General Grant.
You liked him?
For a 150-year-old cigar-smoking, whiskey-drinking, south-scorching, carpet-bagging Yankee general, he ain't a bad sort.
Yes, sir. Old Grant seemed like a pretty decent sort of fella.
I paroled him, didn't I?
This has been an interesting slant on the Civil War.
What war?
He meant to say the war between the states.
It was the war between the North and the USA.
You're right, Granny, but I'm sure that Colonel Blake didn't come over here to talk about that. Let's go inside.
As a matter of fact, I came over to talk about Jethro joining the Army Reserve.
Y'all go and sit down. I'll see can I find Jethro.
Thank you.
He's a fine boy, Colonel. Strong as ox. Good scrapper, too.
That's why I want him.
You ought to have seen him at the Battle of the Culpeper Plantation. Captured a Yankee cannon, single-handed. Took a whole gun crew. Stacked them up like cordwood.
Yes, I know. I was there directing the battle.
Aha! So it was you.
Now, don't forget, I was only taking orders.
You was given orders. I know General Grant wouldn't have started that ruckus. He learned his lesson when the South whooped him the first time.
Oh, well, but...
Shame on you, goading that poor old man into another hopeless uprising.
They said Jethro's going to town.
Good. I don't want him joining the Army Reserves nohow.
Why not?
'Cause it was them that was trying to get the North to secede again.
Now, wait a minute.
I'm going to write my congressman about it, too.
Oh, no, please don't do that. I give you my word, the Army Reserve had nothing to do with Grant's attack.
I'll believe that when I hear it from Grant.
Okay, you'll hear it from the general himself. But just don't write your congressman, please. I'll see you later.
Man, there was no call to jump the colonel like that. He seemed like a real nice fella. Besides, he's a good friend of Mr. Drysdale.
That cinches it. Any friend of General Beauregard Drysdale ain't to be trusted.
General Beauregard?
Bolton Beauregard, the coward of Culpeper Plantation.
Whatever are you talking about?
He comes strutting in here, wearing the gray, bragging how he'd like to meet Grant face to face, saying that his body would form a living shield to protect the flower of Southern womanhood. But when the shooting started, he turned tail and run.
Maybe he seen you didn't need him. It was just a small skirmish. Nobody hurt?
Nobody hurt. Men was falling like flies. I shot General Grant off his horse myself. If he hadn't been drinking for 150 years, it'd have killed him.
What you mean?
I hit him in that cast iron liver.
Hello?
Hello, Chicken Drysdale. This is the flower of Southern womanhood. I'm taking my money out of your bank.
I heard a noise and Chief! A 50 should do it.
General Grant.
Chief, what happened?
Granny's drawing her money out of my bank, and it's your fault.
My fault?
Whose idea was it to dress me up in a Confederate general's uniform?
Yours.
Then whose idea was it for me to lead the charge?
Yours.
But whose idea was it to retreat?
Yours.
There you see, I'm the only one around here who ever comes up with an idea. And I've just come up with another one. Oh, Granny will love me.
What is it?
I'm taking Grant's picture off the $50 bill and replacing it with Robert E. Lee.
Hello. I just got your call. I'm back in the picture, huh?
If you'll do me one little favor.
Name it.
Go talk to Granny.
Forget it.
Oh, what's the matter?
That little woman is dangerous. She wings you with a shotgun, then finishes you off with her jug.
Well, hardly. She's mad at me. She blames the Army Reserve for that battle at the Culpeper Plantation. Tell her it was you.
Tell her it was a movie.
Then she'll really be mad. The proudest moment of her life was when she captured General Ulysses S. Grant.
After she shot me full of lady fingers, I'm still picking crumbs out of my back.
She threatens to write her congressman. The newspapers will have a field day.
That is your problem. I'm not going near that nutty little broad.
Well, think of the headlines. Hillbilly millionaire ambushes Army Reserve. Captures General Grant.
I have an instant replay on that.
Ambushes Army Reserve. Captures General Grant.
No. The flip side.
Hillbilly millionaire?
That's the tune. Sing some more.
Well, my friend Drysdale tells me that Clampett is worth about $60 or $70 million. And a fourth of that is Granny's.
Oh. Let me have that dear little lady's address.
You'll go?
Well, after all, she captured and paroled me. As an officer and a gentleman, it is my duty to report.
Oh, come in, Colonel.
Mr. Clampett?
General Grant, nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Mr. Clampett. And here is my charming conqueror, the beautiful belle of the battlefield.
Oh, did we interrupt your lunch?
Oh, my goodness. That's Jethro's pacifier.
Granny, Colonel Blake wants to talk to Jethro, so why don't you take the general and go sit in the parlor yonder?
Oh, that's an excellent idea.
General, I believe you were going to explain that the attack on the Culpeper plantation was your idea, not the Army Reserves.
Oh, that's true. I am to blame. I am entirely at fault.
Now, don't go to faulting yourself. Let's put it this way. You still have a perfect record.
I have?
You ain't never won a battle against the South.
Well, Colonel, boy's all yours. He'll make you a dandy soldier.
Oh, I know that. I saw him in action. All he has to do now is take the written test.
Well, I won't be no hell to a stepper like Jethro. He's had 12 years of school and graduated highest in his class.
I'm embarrassed to even ask him to come down and take our simple little test. What's he working on?
Oh, a little problem Granny gave me. He'll have her whooped in no time at all. Boy takes to ciphering like a mule to millet. Jethro, show the Colonel what you're ciphering.
Oh, howdy, Colonel.
Hi, sit down.
Well, we'd best start back here at the beginning.
Say, what are you using, logarithms?
Oh, no, sir. This here is a Blackbird number 1. Well, we commence with the figure 200. That is 2 and 2 noughts. Funny thing about them knots, by themselves, they ain't worth shucks. But you lay them up behind a number, and them rascals is dynamite. Now then, here we is dealing with years. If we is dealing with dollars, I'd put me a dot right here and throw up 2 more noughts behind it. That'd mean I had $200, but no cents.
Did I tell you? Like a mule to millet.
Am I going too fast for you?
No, but I do have to get back to headquarters. Why don't you come along with me and we'll get you started on your qualification test.
But I ain't finished ciphering Granny's problem.
Well, that's all right, Jethro. You go along with the Colonel.
Yes, sir.
Tell General Grant I'll see him later.
You bet I will. Now, Colonel, about them tests, don't get your hopes up too high. You see, Jethro might not be as good at other things as he is at ciphering.
You're kidding.
Oh, he's got a natural gift for it.
You say he's had 12 years of schooling?
Clean through the 6th grade.
Oh, I see. 12 years, 6th grade. But he was the highest in his class.
By a good 2 feet.
Put that silver down. You gotta break yourself of them Yankee habits.
I wasn't. I wouldn't.
Remember, you're on parole. One misstep and you're off to Andersonville. Sit down. While the sassafras tea is steeping, we'll get some of these questions out of the way.
Yes, ma'am.
Now then, since your capture, have you been plotting any more uprisings against the South?
Oh, absolutely not.
Have you been consorting with evil companions like Phil Sheridan and Tecumseh Sherman?
Oh, bad boys. Bad boys.
Are you prepared to go to the soldiers' home and live peacefully with your wife?
Well, I don't have a wife.
Forget the old soldiers' home. Are you presently keeping company with any woman of the northern faith?
No, ma'am.
Then, by the power that's vested in me by the Confederate government, I do hereby extend your parole for a period of 1 more week. Rise and salute the flag.
Don't sit there, woman. Help your gallant wounded leader.
Chief, you can't fool Granny with those phony blood stains.
What do you mean, phony? When anyone threatens to take $15 million out of my bank, I bleed. When Granny hears the story of my heroism and sacrifice, she will garland my brow with a victory wreath.
Won't be a minute, you leave. Bolton Beauregard, what happened to you? Got caught in a barbed wire fence running from the battle?
Granny,
I was executing a fast flanking movement.
That's true. You got the fastest moving flanks I ever seen.
Hear me out, dear lady. I left the scene of battle only to pursue the enemy.
What enemy?
Our common foe, that arch fiend, General Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh. You've been chasing him?
Night and day. Across burning deserts, over snow-capped mountains, through raging rivers, until at last we had a rendezvous with death.
You killed him, did you?
He lies in a grave unmarked and unmourned. Though sorely wounded, I made my way back to the bank to erase from our national currency the last vestige of his evil countenance. You will notice a new picture on our $50 bill.
It's Robert E. Lee.
Our beloved leader. And that's what I was doing, ma'am, when you telephoned and so cruelly threatened to withdraw your money. It was a terrible blow.
You think that was a blow? Wait till you get this one. Oh, General!
You called, Daisy?
Well, what have you got to say now?
I believe my dear, sweet, sainted mother expressed it best when she said, Beauregard, some days it just don't pay to get out of bed.
Well, here's your $15 million.
How do you know I had that much?
I mean, I'm toasting the people who follow you and Jeff Davis. Your faithful $15 million.
Well, up the creek and down the river, goodbye gullet and hello liver.
Oh, I'm sorry, Granny. I didn't know you had company.
Ellie Mae, you're showing your bare leaves.
I'm sorry. I was just going swimming.
There, don't scold the child. Why, she's just a baby. Healthy little thing, isn't she? I'm very fond of children.
Your beard tickles, General Grant.
Would you like to run through it barefooted, child?
No, she wouldn't. Go along, Ellie.
Why don't y'all come out by the cement pond? It's a real pretty day.
Wonderful idea. I love to watch children at play. Take Uncle Yuli's hand, child.
Hold it, Yuli. Ellie, run along. You know, sometimes you don't act 147.
Oh, it's just when I see a beautiful girl in a bathing suit, it makes me feel young again.
Well, why didn't you say so? I still have the bathing suit that I wore in the beauty contest at Expo 97 in Bug Tussle.
You do?
I didn't win, but I was voted Miss Good Sport. You wait here. I'll be right back. And I'll run through your beard barefooted. Yulie, honey. Oh, General. Why, that old duffer. He is fond of children.
Did your daddy ever bounce you on his knee?
Well, no, sir, General.
Call me Uncle Yuli.
You're tickling me.
Well, I'm kind of tickled myself.
That silly old man wasting his time with Shirley Temple when Theda Barrer's around. Well, don't just sit there, soldier. Say something.
Put it on. Put it on.
Come on, Granny. Let's go swimming.
No, thank you, Ellie. But the General's gonna join you.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
Colonel Blake. But have you finished grading my test papers yet?
Yes.
Hey, was I the highest in the class?
By a good half foot.
Dog. Then I can join up, huh?
Jethro, fortunately, we take into consideration the amount of formal education a boy has had, and we grade on the curve, so you are eligible to join.
Hey, that's swell.
However, before I administer the oath, there are a couple of things I'd like to discuss with you.
Yes, sir?
Now, let's take your application. You're going to be filling out a lot of other forms, and I want to give you a tip.
Well, thank you.
Name, address, date of birth, that's okay. But, Jethro, where it says sex, write male, not oh boy.
I'm sorry.
Now then, on your mathematics test, you at least tried to answer every question except one. I'll read it. If A leaves Chicago for Kansas City at 10:30...
Oh, you mean that trick question?
Trick question?
Sure. It didn't say A what? A bird can get to Kansas City a heap quicker than A turtle. I was too smart to bite on that one.
Raise your right hand.
Really, sure do thank you, Colonel Blake. When do I leave for Army camp?
We'll let you know, Jethro. The reserve is pretty full up right now.
Well, thanks again. General Grant, you're all wet.
Oh, your grandmother wears army boots.
Where have you been? Crossing the Potomac?
Never mind. I kept my part of the bargain. Now, when do I go back to the Culpeper plantation and start shooting?
Right away. Are you sober enough to make that death-defying charge this time?
I have never been so disgustingly sober in my whole life. You got anything I can take for it?
Not me.
Granny, Uncle Jed.
Well, boy, how'd you make out at the Army Reserve?
I got in. I done took the oath.
Well, doggies, I'll go tell Ellie Mae we'll have us a real wingding to celebrate.
Granny, guess who I saw down there? General Grant.
That parole buster.
You ain't just a joking. He's fixing to attack the Culpeper place again.
No.
Yeah, I heard him say so myself. He's going to make his death-defying charge again.
Fetch the squirrel rifle and the ladyfinger bullets. This time I won't aim for his liver.
Hey, look, Granny, yonder he comes.
Okay, General, I give you your chance. Oh! Tell me to put it on, put it on. Come on, Jethro, let's go home.
And he promised me he'd be sober.
Flu serum and the monster scare, Granny's moonshine and the panic at the pond. There are moments in the Beverly Hillbillies when the entire emotional weather of the series seems to shift the instant Irene Ryan walks into frame, and the sequence that follows Jethro's frogman practice is one of the purest examples. I know. I can still feel the particular kind of delight that rises in me whenever Granny begins her work at the still. It is not merely comic anticipation, it is something closer to recognition. Here is a woman who has carried the knowledge of the hills into the manicured absurdity of Beverly Hills, and who refuses with every fiber of her being to let that knowledge be diluted. When she starts singing "This is the way we cook our mash, cook our mash, cook our mash," I am transported not only to the Clampett mansion but to every kitchen and backyard shed, where an older generation once practiced arts the modern world preferred to forget. The song itself is a small marvel of character writing. It is both a work song and a declaration of identity. Granny and Ellie Mae are framed as co-conspirators in the ancient business of transformation, turning corn and time and secrecy into something powerful. The lyric is simple, almost childlike, yet the way Irene Ryan delivers it carries decades of mountain stubbornness. I have always believed that Granny's relationship to her medicine is one of the richest veins in the entire series. She is not a comic drunk or a mere moonshiner. She is a folk practitioner who has renamed her craft to suit the respectable world she now inhabits. "Moonshine, this is my flu serum," she insists when Jed's disapproval looms. "He's expecting an epidemic, you know, and it's my duty as a doctor to be ready." The line is pure gold because it is both self-justifying and completely sincere. Granny believes in the medicinal power of what she makes. She has simply learned to speak the language of the new century while continuing to practice the alchemy of the old one. The shotgun test that follows is one of those comic inventions that still makes me shake my head in admiration. Granny needs someone to taste the latest batch, and the only way she can persuade Ellie Mae is by framing the act as scientific necessity under armed supervision. "You gotta hold a shotgun on me to make me taste it," she explains, and the logic is so perfectly Granny that I never tire of it. There is fear in the request. She knows the green stuff is mean when it's green, but there is also pride. She is not asking Ellie to suffer for entertainment. She is asking her to participate in the solemn business of quality control. When Ellie finally relents and the tasting begins, the physical comedy is understated by modern standards, yet the tension is real. I find myself holding my breath even now, all these years later, waiting to see whether the latest batch will floor its creator or merely curl her toes. What elevates the sequence beyond simple slapstick is the moral argument simmering beneath it. Jed has forbidden further production. Granny has rebranded the product and continued anyway. The conflict is not merely about alcohol, it is about autonomy, expertise, and the right of an old woman to practice the skills that once made her indispensable. When Jed later confronts her, the dialogue crackles with the particular friction that only these two actors could generate. Buddy Ebsen's Jed is never cruel, but he is firm. Irene Ryan's Granny is never merely defiant, she is wounded that her life's knowledge is being dismissed as a hazard. "You're gonna set medicine back 100 years, she accuses him next. "You'll be stomping out penicillin." The historical name drop is delicious, and the emotional truth beneath it is even better. Granny experiences the ban on her still as an attack on her identity. Then, the monster appears. I have always felt that the monster in the cement pond sequence is one of the great set pieces of the entire series, not because of any elaborate special effects, there are none, but because of the way it allows Granny's imagination, already heated by her own product, to run gloriously wild. She comes running with the urgent news that there is a creature in the water. Great big black slimy looking thing, must be 8 or 10 foot long. Within a few sentences the beast has grown to 12 feet, then 15. It has acquired a single bulging eye in the center of its forehead, roots growing out of its mouth, and an ugly growth on its back. The escalation is pure oral storytelling tradition. Granny is not lying, she is amplifying the way mountain tale tellers have always amplified, turning a startling encounter into a legend before the listener's eyes. Jed's response is a master class in patient exasperation. He has heard versions of this story before, and he immediately connects it to the latest batch of Shooflu brew. The name itself is a comic invention of the highest order. Granny's desperate attempt to make moonshine sound like a pharmaceutical preparation, when she insists it is a vegetable compound made out of natural juices of corn and certain neutral spirits. Jed's dry observation that ain't nothing neutral about them spirits lands with perfect timing. I have quoted that line for decades. It never fails. The physical comedy that follows is some of the most affectionate the series ever produced. Granny, determined to prove the monster's existence, returns to the pond and begins singing "Throw Out the Lifeline." The hymn is both a genuine expression of her faith and a perfect comic setup. Jethro, still in his frogman gear and still practicing, hears the singing, remembers that he hates him singing, and proceeds to grab the pole and pull her in. The moment of the dunking is played with such commitment that I still flinch a little. Irene Ryan sells the shock, the sputtering, the righteous outrage. When she surfaces convinced she has been attacked by a sea serpent right out of the river Styx, the mythological flourish is so unexpected and so completely in character that I laugh every single time. What moves me most, though, is the way the family handles her terror. Jed does not mock her, he does not even fully dismiss her. He simply tries to walk her back from the edge of panic while also trying to get the latest batch of liquor out of circulation. There is love in the frustration. There is history in the argument. These two people have been negotiating the boundaries of Granny's independence for a lifetime, and the cement pond has simply become the latest battlefield. When the truth is finally revealed that the monster is Jethro in his diving suit, the relief is complicated by fresh irritation. Granny has been half drowned by her own grandson's military training exercise, The line "frogmen don't go around jacking their granny in a pond" either is pure Jethro delivered with the wounded innocence of a young man who cannot understand why his serious preparation for naval service keeps producing domestic chaos. Max Baer Jr. plays the moment with perfect sincerity. He is not trying to be funny, he is trying to be a frogman. The funny happens around him. I have often thought that this entire sequence is a quiet essay on the collision between folk belief and modern life. Granny's moonshine is an old technology trying to survive under a new name. The monster is a modern rubber suit interpreted through the lens of mountain legend. The cement pond is a symbol of wealth that the family continues to treat as a natural body of water. Every element is doubled. Every object carrying both its Beverly Hills meaning and its Clampett meaning at the same time. The comedy arises from the gap between the two, but the affection arises from the show's refusal to declare either meaning the correct one. Irene Ryan's performance in these scenes is a sustained miracle. She is simultaneously the formidable matriarch, the frightened old woman, the proud practitioner of forbidden arts, and the comic engine of the episode. Watch the way her voice changes when she shifts from medical justification to monster description. Watch the physicality of her outrage when she realizes she has been dunked by her own flesh and blood. There is no distance between the actress and the character. Ryan simply is Granny and Granny simply is. As the sequence winds down and Granny is led away to change into dry clothes, still muttering about her wonder drug and the flu epidemic that may yet justify it, I feel the particular satisfaction that only this series reliably delivers. The world has been disordered and then gently reordered. No one has been fundamentally changed, yet everyone has been revealed a little more clearly. Jethro's frogman ambitions have claimed their first civilian casualty. Granny's medicine has once again proven more potent than anyone intended. And the cement pond has confirmed its status as the most reliable generator of chaos in all of Beverly Hills. I return to these scenes not only for the laughter, though the laughter remains abundant and bright, but for the reminder that there is still room in the world for people who refuse to abandon the old ways simply because the new ways have arrived. Granny's flu serum may never cure an epidemic. It may in fact create temporary monsters out of ordinary grandsons, but the stubborn, inventive, deeply rooted spirit that produces it is something I continue to cherish. In an age that often feels determined to sand away every eccentricity, the Beverly Hillbillies keeps faith with the glorious, inconvenient, irreplaceable fact of Granny Moses. And every time she fires up the still and starts singing about the mash, I am grateful all over again. I have always believed that the true genius of the Beverly Hillbillies lies in its willingness to let Jethro Bodine's imagination run completely free without the protective net of irony or adult correction. Nowhere is that freedom more dazzling or more pure-hearted than in the moment he abandons the ocean for the moon. Every time I reach this turn in the story, I feel a familiar warmth spread through my chest, the same warmth I felt as a boy when the possibilities of the universe seemed limited only by how far a person was willing to dream. Jethro does not merely change careers, he changes planets, and he does it with the serene confidence of a man who has just discovered that comic books contain reliable intelligence about outer space. The pivot begins in the quietest and most character-driven way possible. After the frogman disasters, the near drowning of Granny, the self-inflicted knockout with the air tank, the explosive exit from the cement pond, Mr. Drysdale and Miss Jane decide that decisive intervention is required. I have always loved how the show allows Drysdale's panic to coexist with genuine, if self-interested, concern. He is not merely protecting his largest depositor's nephew from further mayhem. He is protecting the delicate financial ecosystem that depends on the Clampetts remaining more or less intact. When Miss Jane interrupts his reading of Superbanker, the exchange that follows is pure Raymond Bailey. He defends the comic as great, inspiring literature, the story of Harold Hart, mild-mannered bank president who becomes moneyman faster than a foreclosure, stronger than an armored car, able to leap the national debt with a single bound. The parody is affectionate and precise. In the mid-1960s, the culture was saturated with superheroes, and the show's decision to invent a financial one feels both timely and perfectly tailored to Drysdale's soul. What happens next is one of those quietly brilliant narrative decisions that still delights me. Instead of lectures or punishments, they simply hand Jethro a stack of the comics. The assumption is that the thrilling adventures of Moneyman and his battles with Taxman will redirect the boy's energies into safer channels. It is a plan that could only be hatched by people who have never fully understood the velocity of Jethro's imagination. I remember laughing out loud the first time I watched him absorb the material and then announce with complete seriousness that the Navy could keep its underwater victuals. "I'm going to the moon," he declares. When asked why, he answers with the unshakable logic of a true believer that whole planet is covered with nothing but these here beautiful moon maidens. And then the line that has lived in my memory for decades. "Well, how do you know would they print it in the comic book if it weren't true?" That single question contains an entire philosophy. Jethro does not distinguish between fiction and documentary. If something is printed and illustrated, it belongs to the realm of the real. The Moon Maidens are not a fantasy, they are a destination. I have returned to this moment many times across the years, usually when some new and improbable enthusiasm has taken hold of me. There is a part of every dreamer that operates on Jethro's principle. If the story is vivid enough, it must be possible. The show never ridicules that principle, it simply lets it bloom. The physical transition is handled with the series' customary grace. The remains of the frogman suit are dismissed with a casual suggestion that they can be made into slingshots. The underwater chapter is closed as easily as closing a book. In its place rises the astronaut chapter, complete with plans to purchase one of them great big space rockets. The conversation with Mr. Drysdale that follows is a masterclass in colliding worldviews. Drysdale, already imagining the financial hemorrhage, reminds Jethro that he is not to pay for anything the boy needs. Jethro waves the objection away with the immortal assurance, "Oh, it's only money." In that moment I always feel a complicated tenderness for both men. Drysdale hears the phrase as the most terrifying sentence in the English language. Jethro means it as a simple statement of fact. Money to him is a renewable resource that exists to make dreams tangible. The gap between those two understandings is the engine of so much of the series' comedy, and it has never been more cleanly expressed. What moves me most deeply is the purity of Jethro's motivation. He is not seeking fame or scientific achievement in any conventional sense. He is seeking moon maidens and green cheese and a kingdom where a young man from the hills can be first. "I'm gonna be the first man to land on that rascal," he says, and the word rascal lands with such affectionate familiarity that the moon itself seems to become a neighborly acquaintance. Later, he will style himself Jethro the First, King of the Moon, and the title feels earned rather than assumed. In an era when the real space race was saturating every newspaper and television broadcast, the show's decision to let its most guileless character claim the moon for romance and snack food feels almost subversive. While the nation watched launches and calculated trajectories, Jethro Bodine looked at the same sky and saw beautiful women and acres of green cheese. I have always found that countervision deeply comforting. Max Baer Jr. plays the conversion with absolute sincerity. There is no smirk, no awareness of absurdity. When he tells Granny he is finished with underwater work because man don't live by victuals alone, the biblical echo is both comic and oddly touching. He has found a higher calling. The Moon Maidens are waiting, history is waiting to be made. The performance invites us to share the excitement rather than stand outside it. That invitation is one of the reasons I have never stopped loving this show. It does not ask us to feel superior to Jethro. It asks us to remember what it felt like to believe that the next big thing might be only a comic book and a homemade rocket away. The scenes that follow the decision are filled with the particular light-hearted momentum that the series does better than almost any other comedy of its time. Jethro begins planning the logistics of lunar travel with the same practical energy he once brought to underwater demolition. He will need a rocket. He will need fuel. He will need a life jacket in case he lands in the Sea of Tranquility. Each new detail is added with complete seriousness, and each one deepens the comic enchantment. I find myself rooting for him even as I know the Enterprise is doomed. That rooting interest is the show's quiet triumph. It keeps the audience emotionally aligned with the dreamer rather than with the realists who surround him. Looking back across the decades, I realize that this sequence also captures something essential about the cultural moment in which it was made. The mid-1960s were years of simultaneous technological optimism and deep social unease. The space race offered a clean, heroic narrative at a time when other national narratives were fraying. By giving that heroic narrative to Jethro and then filling it with moon maidens and green cheese, the show performed a gentle act of democratic reclamation. The moon did not belong only to scientists and governments. It belonged to anyone with a comic book and sufficient yearning. That yearning still feels precious to me. As Jethro stands on the threshold of his new identity, the frogman suit discarded and the lunar future glittering ahead, I feel the same mixture of amusement and protective affection that has accompanied me through every rewatch. He has already survived the cement pond and Granny's flu serum. He is about to build a rocket out of whatever materials the Clampett estate can provide and fuel it with the very medicine that recently turned the world temporarily monstrous. The escalation is both inevitable and perfect. In the logic of this series, every abandoned dream simply clears space for a larger one. I sometimes think that Jethro Bodine is the purest embodiment of the American belief that reinvention is always possible, and that the only real qualification required is enthusiasm. He does not need training or credentials or even a clear understanding of the distances involved. He needs only the conviction that the moon is covered with beautiful maidens and that a big enough rocket will get him there. Watching him claim that conviction episode after episode and year after year has been one of the quiet privileges of my life as a viewer. The world has grown more complicated and more guarded since these episodes first aired. Jethro's moon remains simple, shining and inviting, and every time he turns his face toward it, I turn with him, still willing to believe that the comic books might be telling the truth after all. There are sequences in the long life of a beloved television series that feel less like scripted comedy and more like folk tales that somehow found their way onto film, and Jethro's homemade rocket launch belongs high on that list for me. I have watched it more times than I can count in different decades and different moods, and it never fails to produce the same peculiar mixture of delight, tenderness and mild terror. The boy who only minutes earlier had been a frogman is now an astronaut. The cement pond has been replaced by the entire sky. And the fuel for this impossible journey will be the very same green liquor that recently convinced Granny she was being attacked by a sea serpent. The circularity is perfect. In the world of the Clampetts, nothing is ever truly discarded. It is simply reassigned to a grander purpose. The preparation scenes are a master class in the show's particular brand of practical fantasy. Jethro does not merely announce that he is going to the moon. He sets about the business of aiming the rocket with the seriousness of a surveyor. It's usually between the elm and the sycamore, he explains, allowing for wind to lead it a little. The line is so specific, so rooted in the physical landscape of the Clampett estate that I always feel a small shock of recognition. He is navigating by the same trees that have stood in the background of countless quieter scenes. The moon is a distant target, but the reference points are the familiar ones of home. That tension between the cosmic and the local is one of the series' quiet signatures, and it has never been more charmingly expressed. Then comes the countdown, and with it one of the most endearing details in the entire arc. Jethro reads the time not from a modern chronometer but from the mouse's hands. The reference is almost certainly to a Mickey Mouse watch, that ubiquitous emblem of mid-century American childhood, and the way he explains it, the mouse's hands is on 10 and 3, that means 10 minutes to 3. What you gotta watch is the mouse's tail, that's the second hand, is pure Jethro. He has taken a piece of commercial whimsy and turned it into a precision instrument for space travel. I have always loved how the show allows him to inhabit both the child's world and the adventurer's world at the same moment without any sense of contradiction. The mouse watches the seconds. The rocket waits. History is about to be made. The discovery of the fuel source is the comic turning point that still makes me laugh out loud. Jethro has forgotten to buy rocket fuel. For a brief moment the entire enterprise seems grounded. Then his eyes fall on Granny's barrel of flu serum and the solution arrives with the force of revelation. "Quick, get me a rubber hose," he tells Ellie Mae. "I've done found my rocket fuel." The moment is pure narrative elegance. The same liquid that created monsters and medical arguments is now the propellant that will carry a Clampett into the heavens. I cannot think of another sitcom that would dare to make its most chaotic running gag the literal fuel for its most ambitious set piece. The writers trusted the audience to delight in the continuity rather than question the physics, and that trust is repaid every time the fuse is lit. The life jacket is the final perfect touch. Jethro straps it on in case I land in the Sea of Tranquility. The historical reference is slightly premature. The real Sea of Tranquility landing was still 2 years away when these episodes aired, but the casual expertise with which he deploys the name is wonderful. He has absorbed just enough popular science to sound informed while remaining gloriously himself. The image of a large young man in an astronaut suit and a bright life jacket, standing beside a homemade rocket filled with mountain liquor is one I carry with me like a private talisman. It represents everything the series at its best could be: inventive, affectionate, visually absurd, and emotionally true. When the countdown reaches its end and the order is given to light the fuse, I always feel a small tightening in my chest. The show does not linger on the mechanics of the launch. It simply cuts to the aftermath, and that aftermath is delivered through one of the most enjoyable news report parodies the series ever attempted. A solemn announcer describes the mysterious man rocket that streaked across Southern California skies and plunged into the ocean near Point Mugu. The military services deny all knowledge. A helicopter is scrambled. The nation holds its breath. And then the pilot is pulled aboard and speaks his first words, "Hey, we're all the Moon Maidens." I have never grown tired of that punchline. It is the perfect distillation of Jethro's entire worldview. He has survived a ballistic arc across the state and a crash landing in the Pacific, and his first concern is the apparent absence of the beautiful women the comic books promised. The line is delivered with such unspoiled disappointment that it somehow becomes heroic. Max Baer Jr. understood that the comedy only works if the character remains completely earnest. There is no meta wink. No acknowledgement that the Enterprise was doomed from the start. Jethro simply reports the facts as he experienced them. The Moon Maidens were not there. The rest is secondary. Granny's reaction from the shore is equally perfect. While the rest of the world is treating the event as a possible extraterrestrial incident or a military accident, she sees only the latest chapter in the ongoing saga of her medicine. "He's mine, I want first crack at that medicine moocher," she declares, and the proprietary fury is both hilarious and strangely touching. Her flu serum has now powered a space shot. In her mind, the scientific validation is complete. The fact that the pilot is her own grandson only sharpens the claim. Mr. Drysdale's response brings the sequence back to the financial reality that always shadows the Clampett's adventures. When he sees the bill for the rocket, the color drains from his face so completely that Miss Jane observes he is turning into Money Man. The visual gag is simple but effective, and Raymond Bailey plays the mounting horror with the commitment of a man watching his life's work evaporate in real time. I have always felt a complicated sympathy for Drysdale in these moments. He is greedy and manipulative, yes, but he is also the only character who fully understands the economic consequences of Jethro's imagination. Watching him absorb the cost of a homemade space program is both comic and oddly poignant. What lingers with me longest, though, is the sheer generosity of the storytelling. The show could have punished Jethro for his recklessness, it could have underlined the danger or the waste. Instead, it allows the rocket to fly, the news cameras to roll, and the boy to emerge from the ocean still talking about Moon Maidens. The world is not set right by scolding, it is set right by the family's stubborn refusal to let any adventure, however catastrophic, diminish their essential affection for one another. Granny will still try to dose him. Jed will still shake his head. Ellie Mae will still help with the next impossible project. The rocket is gone, the bill has arrived, and the Clampetts remain intact. I sometimes think this sequence captures something essential about the American relationship to technology and ambition in the 1960s. While the real space program was proceeding with careful calculation and enormous public expense, the Clampetts mounted their own parallel effort with a barrel of moonshine and a rubber hose. The parody is gentle rather than corrosive. It does not mock the desire to reach the moon. It simply relocates that desire inside a family that measures success by different standards. Jethro did not plant a flag or collect samples. He looked for maidens and green cheese. In the moral universe of the series, that quest is no less worthy. Every time the homemade rocket streaks across the imagined California sky, I feel a renewal of the same wonder that first drew me to these episodes. The boy who began the day as a frogman has become, however briefly, a man who touched the edge of space. The fuel was questionable, the aim was approximate, the landing was wet. And yet, for one shining, ridiculous, perfect moment, a Clampett left the Earth. I have never stopped being grateful that the show allowed him to do it, or that it allowed us to go with him, laughing and holding our breath and believing just a little that the Moon Maidens might still be waiting somewhere beyond the next countdown. There is a particular ache that settles over me whenever the Clampetts gather to say goodbye to one of their own, even when the departure is temporary and the circumstances are ridiculous. The farewell breakfast that marks Jethro's supposed entry into the Army Reserve is one of the most densely layered and emotionally generous sequences the series ever produced. I have returned to it across decades of rewatching, and each time I find new shades of tenderness beneath the comedy. What begins as a practical scheme by Mr. Drysdale to channel Jethro's energies into something safer than homemade rocketry becomes, in the hands of the writers and the cast, a full-throated celebration of family ritual, mismatched generosity, and the stubborn persistence of love. The decision itself arrives with the quiet efficiency that often characterizes the show's plot mechanics. After the rocket's spectacular failure and the resulting financial shock, Drysdale and Miss Jane settle on the reserve as the perfect solution. It will give Jethro structure tests and a sense of purpose while keeping him more or less under supervision. The Clampetts, of course, interpret the plan through their own lens. To them, this is not a bureaucratic formality or a temporary diversion. It is the boy answering his country's call. The gap between those two understandings will fuel much of the comedy that follows, but the emotional core remains the family's sincere desire to honor the moment. The breakfast itself is staged in the fancy eating room, and the formality of the setting only heightens the homespun nature of what unfolds. Jed begins with a speech that still moves me more than it probably should. Buddy Ebsen delivers it with that particular blend of dignity and plain-spoken warmth that defined his performance. He speaks of leaving home for the first time, of the lump in the throat of pride in serving a country that has been good to them. There is no irony in the words. Jed believes them. And because he believes them, I find myself believing them too, even as I know the service in question is largely a fiction designed by a nervous banker. The speech is a reminder that the Clampetts' patriotism is not abstract or performative. It is rooted in gratitude and in the simple conviction that a man ought to stand up when called. Then come the presents, and with them one of the richest comic inventories the series ever assembled. Jed offers the family squirrel gun, a weapon that has passed from father to son, and now he hopes to the next generation of sharpshooters. The gesture is solemn and deeply felt. Granny, never one to be outdone in matters of heritage, presents a full Confederate uniform complete with sword and a medal she insists was awarded by General Lee after the final Yankee defeat at Appomattox. The historical revisionism is breathtaking and completely in character. When Jed gently corrects her granny, the Yankees wasn't defeated, it was the South, she simply overrides him. In her private cosmology, the South remains undefeated, and she will dress her grandson accordingly. Irene Ryan plays the moment with such fierce conviction that I never quite dare to laugh at her. I laugh with her and with the impossible coherence of her world. Ellie's gift is a box of ladyfingers, those delicate cookies she has prepared as a snack for the journey. Jethro, true to form, immediately interprets them as ammunition. Ellie made me bullets for your rifle, he announces with delight, and the misunderstanding is so pure that it becomes its own kind of poetry. Donna Douglas has always excelled at these moments of gentle confusion. Her Ellie Mae exists in a space where affection and literalism intertwine, and the ladyfingers are offered with complete sincerity. That they will later be fired in anger at an actor playing General Grant only deepens the retrospective sweetness of the gift. Miss Jane's present is a pin-up photograph of herself in a bathing suit. The moment is played with Nancy Culp's trademark mixture of primness and hidden longing. Jethro's reaction, boy, Miss Jane in a bathing suit, you're a different woman, is both comic and oddly gallant. He accepts the gift in the spirit it is offered as a token for a soldier's barracks. Mr. Drysdale, never one to be left out of a ceremonial occasion, produces a moneyman piggy bank whose eyes light up when a dime is inserted. The gift is pure Drysdale, financially themed, slightly grotesque, and offered with the hope that it will somehow bind the boy more tightly to the banking universe. Raymond Bailey's delivery of the demonstration is a small comic gem. What I find most moving about the entire gift-giving ritual is the way each present reveals the giver more than the receiver. Jed offers continuity and protection. Granny offers a rewritten history and a call to ancestral arms. Ellie offers nourishment. Miss Jane offers a carefully rationed piece of her private self. Drysdale offers a financial talisman. Together, they form a portrait of a family and its satellite personalities trying to express love in the only languages they know. The fact that the languages do not quite match is the source of the comedy. The fact that the love is genuine is the source of the lasting power. Granny's formal speech deserves special attention. She has clearly been rehearsing, and the result is a magnificent collision of high oratory and mountain practicality. She begins with the grand address, Mr. President, members of Congress, fellow delegates, and then without warning drifts into her recipe for fried chicken roll in flour salt to taste fry in deep fat. The transition is so seamless and so completely true to her character that I always feel a surge of affection. Irene Ryan understood that Granny's mind does not compartmentalize. The same woman who can invoke Thomas Jefferson can also tell you exactly how to prepare a chicken. Both forms of knowledge are sacred to her and the speech honors them equally. As the breakfast concludes and Jethro prepares to leave, the visual comedy reaches a quiet peak. He stands there in the full Confederate uniform, squirrel rifle in hand, ladyfinger bullets in his pocket, and a moneyman piggy bank somewhere in his belongings. The image is absurd by any conventional measure. It is also deeply touching. This is how the Clampetts send one of their own into the world, over-armed with history, under-informed about modern bureaucracy, and wrapped in every form of care they can devise. Jed's final advice: make your country proud of you, boy, remember you're a Tennessee volunteer, lands with the weight of genuine feeling. The fact that the boy is about to be mistaken for a movie extra only makes the dignity of the send-off more poignant. I have often thought that this sequence captures something essential about the series' attitude toward institutional America. The Army Reserve is treated not as a faceless bureaucracy but as another stage on which the Clampetts' values will be tested and inevitably will transform whatever they encounter. The family does not adjust themselves to the institution. They adjust the institution in their minds to themselves. Jethro leaves home not as a recruit but as a representative of a way of life that refuses to be diminished. Every time I watch the family gather around that table, I feel the same complicated gratitude. The world outside the mansion is already preparing its misunderstandings and its comic collisions. The Confederate uniform will be misread. The squirrel rifle will be judged too modern. The ladyfingers will become ammunition in a battle that exists only in Granny's heart. And yet the farewell itself remains pure. It is a moment when the Clampetts are allowed to be exactly who they are: generous, wrong-headed, fiercely loyal, and completely sincere without the outside world yet intruding. I treasure it for that reason. In the long arc of Jethro's military misadventures, this breakfast is the calm before the glorious storm, and it is filled with the kind of ordinary love that makes the storm worth weathering. I have always felt a special tenderness for the moment when Jethro Bodine first steps into the Army Reserve headquarters dressed in the full panoply of his grandmother's rewritten history. There is something almost ceremonial about that entrance, something that reaches beyond the immediate joke and touches the deeper chord the series plays so well. The collision between a private ancestral world and the impersonal machinery of modern institutions. Every time I watch him walk through those doors, squirrel rifle in hand, Confederate uniform buttoned with care, heart full of the speeches and presence of the farewell breakfast, I feel the same mixture of protective anxiety and delighted anticipation that I first experienced decades ago. He is carrying more than clothing and a weapon. He is carrying Granny's unyielding version of the past, Jed's quiet hopes, and his own earnest desire to serve. The fact that no one inside the building will understand any of it is both the engine of the comedy and the source of its unexpected pathos. The scene begins, as so many of the richest sequences in the series do, with a quiet conversation between Jed and Jethro that establishes the emotional stakes. Jethro is worried about the impression he will make. "I can't show up at the Army Reserve looking like this," he says. "What are they gonna think?" Jed's reply is one of those perfectly calibrated Buddy Ebsen moments that I have never stopped admiring. He does not laugh. He does not dismiss the concern. He simply observes that Jethro will not be just another face in the crowd and then adds the dry loving truth: every day they get a boy in a Confederate uniform toting a squirrel rifle that shoots ladybugs. The line is funny, of course, but it is also a quiet acknowledgement of how completely the family has prepared their boy for a world that has no category for him. When Jethro asks what he should tell them, Jed's counsel is characteristically gentle and practical. Tell the truth, he says, but also find a way to please a sweet, sentimental little old gray-haired granny. The advice contains the entire moral universe of the Clampetts in miniature: honesty tempered by kindness, reality tempered by love. I have often lingered over that exchange in my own mind because it captures something essential about Jed Clampett's role in the family and in the series. He is the translator between the old world and the new, the man who understands both the depth of Granny's convictions and the impossibility of imposing them unchanged upon modern institutions. He cannot bring himself to shatter her private mythology, yet he also cannot send Jethro into the world completely unprepared. The compromise he offers is imperfect, as all real compromises are, and it is offered with the weary affection of a man who has been negotiating these tensions for a lifetime. Buddy Ebsen plays it with such understated grace that the moment feels less like comedy than like a small piece of lived wisdom. Then Jethro enters the headquarters and the machinery of mistaken identity begins to turn with exquisite precision. The sergeant's first reaction is already shaped by the studio's earlier delivery of Civil War extras. The studio has started to send over those Civil War soldiers, he reports to Colonel Blake. They weren't supposed to come in till after lunch. In that single piece of information, the entire comic structure of the next several episodes is quietly locked into place. Jethro is not seen as a recruit, he is seen as an actor who has arrived early. The misunderstanding is so complete, so institutionally logical, that it feels almost fated. I have always loved how cleanly the show constructs these collisions. No one has to behave foolishly for the joke to work. Everyone simply continues to operate inside their own coherent frame of reference, and the frames refuse to overlap. Colonel Blake himself is a wonderful creation, a technical advisor who knows the difference between historically accurate equipment and Hollywood approximation, and who is already weary of the compromises the production is forcing upon Tim. When Jethro is shown in the Colonel's inspection is both professional and comically misplaced. "Step right in here, Stonewall," he says. "Turn around." Excellent. Very athletic Tennessee Volunteers. The name Stonewall is bestowed with the casual authority of a man who has already filed the new arrival under the correct heading. Max Baer Jr. plays Jethro's mixture of pride and confusion with perfect sincerity. He has been called a Tennessee Volunteer by Jed only minutes earlier. Now the title is being confirmed by an official. In his mind, the pieces are fitting together. In the Colonel's mind, an early extra has simply shown up in a better-than-average costume. The examination of the squirrel rifle is a small masterpiece of crossed purposes. Colonel Blake looks it over, and immediately rejects it. "Oh, I can't let you use this," he says. "Why not?" Jethro asks. "Too good. Too modern." The line is devastating in its implications. The weapon that represents continuity and heritage to the Clampetts is to the technical advisor an anachronism that would ruin the historical texture of the film. I never fail to feel a little pang at that exchange. The rifle has been presented to Jethro as a sacred trust. It is now being dismissed as too advanced for the war he thinks he is about to fight. The Colonel's additional remark with guns like that the South would win the war is delivered as a professional judgment about cinematic accuracy. To Jethro, it is an admission that the South's defeat was a matter of inferior equipment rather than any deeper historical necessity. The seeds of Granny's later conviction that the North is rising again are planted right here in this quiet rejection of a family heirloom. When the Colonel tells him "You're in," Jethro hears the words in the only way he can. He is in the army. He is going to fight. The Colonel's further explanation that he will be fighting the Union Army at Culpeper Plantation, that the attack will come on Monday, that the location is being kept secret from the public lands on fertile ground. Every detail is true inside the frame of the movie production. Every detail is apocalyptic inside the frame of Jethro's understanding. The show does not underline the gap with nudges or explanatory asides. It simply lets the two meanings coexist in the same sentences and trusts the audience to feel the delicious, slightly dizzying space between them. I have always been struck by how much historical and cultural weight the series manages to carry in these apparently light scenes. The mid-1960s were years when the Civil War was being re-fought in the national imagination with new intensity through the civil rights movement, through the centennial commemorations that had recently concluded, through the ongoing struggles over memory and meaning. The Beverly Hillbillies never addresses those larger battles directly. Yet the figure of a young man in a Confederate uniform walking into a modern military facility cannot help but resonate with them. The show's genius is that it keeps the resonance comic and character-driven. Jethro is not a symbol. He is a young man who wants to serve and who has been dressed by his grandmother in the only uniform she considers honorable. The misunderstanding that follows is funny precisely because it is so completely human. Colonel Blake's weariness, the sergeant's bureaucratic distraction, Jethro's earnest confusion, all of it feels observed rather than invented. The headquarters itself becomes a kind of liminal space where the past the Clamperts carry and the present the institution inhabits refuse to acknowledge each other. I find myself thinking every time I watch the scene about how many real young men must have walked into recruiting offices carrying private histories that the paperwork could never capture. The series never makes the parallel explicit, and I am grateful for that restraint. It allows the comedy to remain light while still touching something true. Max Baer Jr.'s performance in this sequence is a quiet marvel of controlled innocence. He does not play Jethro as stupid. He plays him as a man whose categories are simply different, when he asks who he will be fighting and where the questions are practical. When he is told the Culpeper plantation is somewhere up in Beverly Hills, the information is filed away as strategic intelligence. The same mind that once calculated how to aim a homemade rocket between an elm and a sycamore is now calculating the logistics of a war he believes is about to restart. The continuity of character is absolute. That continuity is what makes the later escalations feel inevitable rather than arbitrary. As the interview concludes and Jethro is sent on his way with instructions to report on Monday, I always feel a complex mixture of amusement and protectiveness. He leaves the headquarters believing he has been accepted into the service of his country. In reality, he has been cast as an extra in a movie whose technical advisor is already exasperated by the producer's relatives. The Confederate uniform that was meant to honor Granny's grandfather will now be read as costume. The squirrel rifle that was meant to continue a family tradition has been rejected as too modern. And the boy himself moves through it all with the same open-hearted seriousness he brought to frogman training and lunar travel. There is a moment just before he exits when the full weight of the mistaken identity settles over the scene like a held breath. Colonel Blake has already said too much. He has revealed the location, the timing, the opposing force. In the logic of the production, these are mundane details. In the logic of Jethro's world, they are the opening movements of a new war between the states. I never watch the exchange without feeling the quiet click of narrative machinery locking into place. Everything that follows Granny's alarm, the hiding of the livestock, the charge at Culpeper, the capture of the actor playing Grant grows directly from these few minutes of crossed purposes. What I cherish most about the sequence is its refusal to belittle anyone involved. The colonel is competent within his domain. The sergeant is doing his job. Jethro is doing his best to live up to the expectations of the people who love him. The comedy arises not from cruelty or from exaggerated stupidity, but from the simple, stubborn fact that human beings inhabit different stories at the same time. The Beverly Hillbillies at its best has always understood that truth, and this arrival at reserve headquarters is one of the cleanest and most generous demonstrations of it. I have carried the image of Jethro standing in that office, tall, earnest, dressed for a war that ended a century earlier, holding a rifle too good for the history being filmed through many years of my own life. It reminds me that every institution we enter is already crowded with meanings we did not bring and may never fully understand. It reminds me that the love that dresses us for those institutions can be both a gift and a complication. And it reminds me above all, that there is still room in the world for people who walk into official spaces carrying the full unedited weight of their family's stories. Jethro Bodine does not leave that weight at the door, he carries it inside, and in doing so he quietly, comically and completely transforms the room. I have never lost the particular sense of delighted disbelief that settles over me when the full machinery of the Culpeper plantation production begins to close around Jethro Bodine. What started as a simple case of mistaken identity at the reserve headquarters deepens in these next passages into one of the most sustained and intricately constructed comic misunderstandings the series ever attempted. Every time I return to the scene, I feel the same quiet thrill of recognition. The show is about to take two completely coherent worlds: the world of a Hollywood technical advisor trying to mount a Civil War picture, and the world of a young man from the hills who believes he has just enlisted to defend his country, and allow them to occupy the same physical space without either side realizing the other exists. The result is pure narrative exhilaration. Colonel Blake's further instructions to Jethro are delivered with the brisk efficiency of a man who has already filed the new arrival under the correct administrative heading. He is not recruiting a soldier, he is processing an early extra. "You're in," he says, and then proceeds to outline the coming engagement with the calm authority of a professional who has explained the same setup to a dozen other costumed young men. The Union Army will attack. The Confederate forces will be dug in at Culpeper Plantation. The location is somewhere up in Beverly Hills. The public is not to know where the shooting will take place. Monday morning is the scheduled start. Each detail is mundane inside the frame of the film production. Each detail is world-altering inside the frame of Jethro's understanding. I never watch the exchange without feeling a small pleasurable dizziness at the precision with which the two meanings are kept in perfect parallel. What makes the sequence endure for me is the absolute sincerity with which Max Baer Jr. receives the information. There is no flicker of doubt, no comic take to the camera, no indication that any part of the briefing strikes him as strange. When he asks who he will be fighting, the question is practical. When he is told it will be the Union Army, he accepts the answer as strategic intelligence. When the location is given as Culpeper Plantation in Beverly Hills, he simply files the information away. The same mind that once calculated windage between an elm and a sycamore for a homemade rocket is now calculating the logistics of a war he believes is about to resume. The continuity of character is so complete that the escalating absurdity feels inevitable rather than engineered. I have always been especially fond of the small professional frustrations that Colonel Blake reveals in these moments. He is a technical advisor, not a casting director, and he is already tired of the compromises the production is forcing upon him. The producer's relatives are being shoehorned into roles. The extras are arriving at the wrong times. The equipment is a mixture of accurate and anachronistic pieces that he must constantly police. When he examines Jethro's squirrel rifle and rejects it as too good, too modern, the judgment is delivered with the weariness of a man who has spent weeks trying to protect the historical texture of the film from the casual anachronisms of Hollywood. The irony, of course, is that the rifle is one of the few genuinely historical objects in the room. It has passed through generations of clampettes. It carries more authentic weight than any of the prop weapons the studio has supplied. Yet it is dismissed because it does not fit the visual requirements of the production. I never fail to feel a small pang at that rejection. The object that represents continuity and heritage to one world is an unacceptable intrusion in the other. The Colonel's additional remark that with guns like that the South would have won the war lands on Jethro's ears is confirmation of a truth Granny has always maintained. In the technical advisor's mouth, it is a casual professional observation about the importance of period accuracy. In Jethro's mind, it is an admission that the earlier defeat was a matter of equipment rather than destiny. The seeds of the later conviction that the North is rising again are watered right here. In this quiet exchange over a family heirloom, the show's restraint in not underlining the moment is one of its great strengths. It trusts the audience to feel the click of narrative machinery without needing it pointed out. There is a wonderful secondary layer of comedy in the way the headquarters staff continues to treat Jethro as a working actor rather than a civilian. The sergeant's earlier report that the studio has begun sending over Civil War soldiers has already established the frame. Colonel Blake's decision to process the new arrival without further question simply extends that frame. No one asks for identification papers that would reveal the truth. No one wonders why a young man in a Confederate uniform has walked into a reserve facility carrying a squirrel rifle. The institutional assumption is so strong that it absorbs the anomaly without friction. I have always admired how cleanly the series constructs these bureaucratic blind spots. The joke does not require anyone to be foolish. It only requires everyone to remain logical inside their own closed system. As the briefing continues, the colonel lets slip more operational details than he perhaps intends. The attack will come at dawn on Monday. The Confederate forces will be positioned at the plantation. Grant's troops will surround the place. The location is being kept secret so that the public will not interfere with the shooting. Each revelation is received by Jethro as classified military intelligence. When he later carries these details home, they will become the foundation of Granny's absolute conviction that the war between the states is about to resume on the streets of Beverly Hills. The elegance of the construction still impresses me. The show does not need an elaborate deception. It only needs one young man who takes everything he is told at face value and a professional who has no reason to suspect he is speaking to anyone other than an early arriving extra. I find myself returning often to the cultural texture of the moment. The mid-1960s were years when the Civil War remained a living presence in the American imagination. The centennial commemorations had only recently concluded. The struggles of the civil rights movement were forcing the nation to confront the unfinished business of the conflict. Hollywood itself was in the midst of a cycle of Civil War and Western productions that treated the period as both historical setting and mythic resource. By placing a genuine mountain family in the middle of a Hollywood reenactment, the series creates a comic hall of mirrors in which authenticity and simulation keep changing places. Jethro's uniform is more historically grounded in family memory than most of the costumes the studio has provided. His understanding of the conflict is more personally felt than the technical advisor's professional knowledge. Yet inside the headquarters he is the one who is treated as the approximation. Max Baer Jr.'s ability to hold the center of this confusion without ever appearing stupid is a sustained quiet miracle. He plays Jethro as a man of limited formal education but of complete emotional and imaginative coherence. When he accepts the colonel's instructions, he is not being gulled. He is doing exactly what a sincere young recruit would do, listening carefully, asking practical questions and preparing to report for duty at the appointed time. The fact that the duty in question is a film role rather than a military engagement is a truth that exists entirely outside his frame of reference. The performance invites us to occupy that frame with him rather than stand outside it in superior amusement. That invitation is one of the reasons the sequence has never lost its warmth for me. As Jethro prepares to leave the headquarters, the full weight of the mistaken recruitment settles over the scene. He has been told he is in the army. He has been given the location and the timing of the coming battle. He has been instructed to report on Monday. In his mind, the path is clear. He will go home, share the intelligence with his family, and prepare to defend the South against the renewed Northern aggression. The fact that he will be sharing the production schedule of a Hollywood movie is a secondary truth that has not yet entered his awareness. I always feel a complex tenderness watching him walk out the door. He is carrying information that will detonate into full-scale family mobilization the moment Granny hears it. He is also carrying the unshaken conviction that he has just taken a meaningful step in service to his country. The scene's final beats are marked by Colonel Blake's residual professional irritation. He has already said more than he intended. He has revealed details that are meant to remain internal to the production. The throwaway line about having said too much already is both a realistic touch of workplace caution and a quiet narrative promise. Too much has indeed been said. The words are already on their way to the Clampett mansion, where they will be received not as the logistics of a film shoot but as the opening movements of a new war. The elegance with which the series plants that explosive information inside an otherwise ordinary administrative conversation still strikes me as one of its small formal triumphs. Looking back across the years, I realize that this sequence also captures something essential about the show's attitude toward institutions. The reserve headquarters is not portrayed as malevolent or even particularly incompetent. It is simply a system that processes what it expects to see. When a young man in a Confederate uniform appears at the wrong time, the system files him under the heading that already exists for such appearances. The comedy arises from the system's efficiency rather than from its failure. That choice keeps the humor generous. No one has to be a fool for the misunderstanding to flower. They only have to remain true to the logic of their own world. I have carried the image of Jethro standing in that office listening with complete attention to a briefing that means one thing to the man giving it, and another thing entirely to the man receiving it through many seasons of my own life. It reminds me how often we speak to each other across unbridgeable gaps in meaning while continuing to believe that communication has occurred. It reminds me that sincerity is no protection against misunderstanding and may even deepen it. And it reminds me, above all, that the Clampetts' particular gift is to move through such misunderstandings without ever losing their essential dignity or their essential kindness. Jethro leaves the headquarters as a recruited extra who believes he is a recruited soldier. Both identities are in their own way true. The rest of the story will be the long, hilarious and surprisingly touching process of discovering which truth can survive contact with the other. There are moments in the long history of the Beverly Hillbillies when Irene Ryan's Granny Moses ceases to be a comic character and becomes something closer to a force of nature, and the scene in which she receives Jethro's report from the reserve headquarters belongs high among them. I have watched it more times than I can count across different years and different moods, and it never fails to produce the same complex mixture of laughter, admiration and something that feels almost like awe. A young man returns home carrying what he believes is military intelligence. An old woman receives that intelligence through the unbroken lens of a private historical faith that has never accepted the official ending of the Civil War. Within minutes, the Clampett mansion is transformed into a command post, and the quiet domestic world of Beverly Hills is placed on a war footing that exists entirely inside one unyielding mind. Jethro's entrance is itself a small study in colliding emotional temperatures. He has come home earlier than expected. The family is still feeling the lingering sentiment of the farewell breakfast. Granny is already missing him. When he announces that he has discovered who the reserves are really for the Yankees, the word lands with the force of a cannon shot. I never watch the moment without feeling the air in the room change. Max Baer Jr. plays the revelation with complete sincerity. He is not delivering a punchline. He is sharing critical information that has altered his understanding of the entire enterprise. The North is going to commence fighting again. The attack is scheduled for Monday morning. The location is a place called Culpeper Plantation somewhere in Beverly Hills. The public is not to know where the shooting will be. Each detail is relayed with the careful precision of a scout returning from enemy territory. Granny's response is instantaneous and absolute. There is no period of doubt, no request for clarification, no flicker of the modern skepticism that Jed will try to interpose. She has been waiting for this news for a lifetime. You mean they didn't learn their lesson at Gettysburg and Appomattox, she demands, and the question contains an entire cosmology. In her private history, the South was not defeated. It was betrayed by superior numbers and inferior equipment. The North has been muttering for years that it will rise again. Now the rising has been scheduled, and the battlefield has been chosen inside the very community the Clampetts have come to inhabit. The speed with which she moves from reception of the news to strategic analysis is breathtaking. Irene Ryan does not play the moment as delusion, she plays it as recognition. The thing she has always known to be true has finally stepped into the open. I have always felt a deep and complicated respect for the integrity of Granny's conviction. The series could easily have treated her belief as mere comic senility, or as a joke to be corrected by the wiser heads around her. It never does. Instead, it grants her private history the same weight it grants any other character's understanding of the world. When Jed attempts to introduce reason, pointing out that General Grant would have to be close to 150 years old, Granny has an answer ready. The only explanation is that he has been smoking Virginia tobacco and drinking Tennessee whiskey. The line is funny, of course, but it is also a perfect expression of a mind that will not allow contradictory evidence to survive. She does not deny the problem of Grant's age, she simply absorbs it into a larger theory that preserves the essential truth she cannot relinquish. The strategic conference that follows is one of the purest examples of the show's ability to let a character's inner world reshape the physical space around her. Granny immediately identifies the need for intelligence, the exact location of the plantation and the Yankee plan of battle. When Ellie Mae asks how they will obtain it, Granny reaches into the deep archive of Confederate law, and produces Belle Boyd, the famous spy whose beauty and daring loosened the tongues of Union officers. The reference is delivered with the casual authority of a woman who has kept these stories alive as living tools rather than as museum pieces. She then assigns roles with the clarity of a commander. Ellie will stay behind and finish the dishes. Jethro will drive her down to the headquarters so that she can practice the old arts of espionage. The condition she places on Ellie Mae's possible future use of the techniques you gotta promise to only use them in the defense of your country is both comic and strangely moving. Even in the midst of preparing for a war that exists only in her mind, Granny is concerned with the moral education of the next generation. What strikes me most forcefully in these scenes is the way the series allows Granny's alarm to become a form of care. She is not seeking glory, she is seeking to protect the only world that has ever made sense to her. The Clampetts have already been displaced once from the hills to Beverly Hills. In her mind, a second displacement, this time by a renewed northern invasion, cannot be permitted. The livestock must be hidden, the family must be mobilized. The old skills of resistance must be dusted off and made ready. When she tells Jethro that Jed has a blind spot when it comes to the Yankees and that he always says to let sleeping dogs lie, the observation carries the weight of long domestic argument. She has been fighting this particular battle inside the family for years. Now the external world has finally supplied her with proof. Jed's resistance to the rising panic is played by Buddy Ebsen with the particular combination of patience and quiet steel that defines his performance. He does not mock his mother-in-law, he does not even fully dismiss her. He simply tries, as he has always tried, to keep the family's relationship with reality from fracturing completely. His suggestion that a man would have to be 150 years old to be the historical Grant is reasonable. His decision to go back to bed rather than join the mobilization is an assertion of a different kind of wisdom. Yet even Jed cannot entirely extinguish the energy Granny has unleashed. The house is already changing around him. The old woman who has spent the day cooking mash and surviving a dunking in the cement pond has become, in the space of a single conversation, the commander of a new Confederate resistance. I find myself returning often to the cultural resonance of these scenes. The mid-1960s were years when the unfinished business of the Civil War was being fought out in the streets and in the courts with new intensity. The series never addresses that larger struggle directly, yet the figure of an elderly Southern woman who refuses to accept the official ending of the conflict cannot help but echo it. What the show does with that echo is characteristically gentle and characteristically complex. Granny's refusal is not presented as a political program. It is presented as a personal faith so deep that it organizes her entire perception of the world. The comedy arises from the collision between that faith and the mundane realities of Beverly Hills. The respect arises from the series' refusal to treat the faith as merely laughable. Irene Ryan's performance in this sequence is a sustained act of imaginative possession. She does not indicate Granny's belief, she inhabits it. When she speaks of Belle Boyd, the name carries the weight of lived admiration. When she plans the concealment of the livestock, the practical details are as real to her as any modern military operation. When she warns that after the war it will go hard on Yankee sympathizers, the threat is delivered with the calm certainty of a woman who has already seen the future. The performance leaves no distance between the actress and the character's private history. That absence of distance is what gives the comedy its unexpected depth. We are not invited to laugh at a delusion. We are invited to spend time inside a coherent and fiercely defended world. As the scene moves toward Granny's departure for the headquarters, the full scope of the mobilization becomes clear. She will change into civilian clothes so that she will not be recognized as a Confederate while consorting with the enemy. She will use the old arts of charm and conversation to loosen northern tongues. She will bring back the information the family needs to prepare its defense. The plan is preposterous by any external measure. Inside the logic the series has granted her. It is simply necessary. I never watch her prepare for the mission without feeling a surge of complicated affection. She is about to walk into a Hollywood production office and attempt to extract military secrets from men who believe they are discussing a shooting schedule. The gap between her purpose and their understanding is absolute. The dignity with which she carries her purpose is equally absolute. There is a quiet moment just before she leaves when the emotional stakes of the sequence are allowed to surface without joke. The family has already lost Jethro once that day to the supposed demands of service. Now they are losing Granny to the demands of a war only she can fully see. Ellie Mae's desire to come along is refused with the firmness of a commander who knows that some missions require experience. Jethro is retained as driver and support. Jed is left behind with his skepticism and his exhausted patience. The division of the household is temporary, but it carries a surprising weight. The Clampetts are once again being rearranged by forces that originate in Granny's unyielding memory of a conflict the rest of the nation has agreed to place in the past. I have carried the image of Granny receiving the news of the Northern attack through many years of my own life. It reminds me that the stories we refuse to relinquish can become more real to us than the evidence that surrounds us. It reminds me that love of family and love of a private history can fuse into a single fierce energy that rearranges everything in its path. And it reminds me above all, that the Beverly Hillbillies at its best is willing to grant even its most extravagant convictions a full measure of human dignity. Granny Moses does not believe the North is rising again because she is foolish. She believes it because the alternative, accepting that the world she was formed in has been permanently defeated, is a surrender she has never been willing to make. In the scenes that follow, she will act on that belief with every resource she possesses. The results will be chaotic, hilarious and strangely moving. But the belief itself in this first moment of pure alarm stands complete and unchallenged. I have never stopped respecting it. There is a special quality of controlled chaos that settles over the Clampett mansion in the hours after Granny accepts the reality of a renewed northern invasion, and I have never tired of watching it unfold. The sequence in which the family prepares for battle, hiding the livestock, assigning roles and ultimately absorbing Mr. Drysdale into the Confederate ranks stands for me as one of the purest expressions of the series' comic and emotional strengths. What begins as one woman's unyielding historical conviction expands until it rearranges the entire household and briefly the moral calculations of the most money-conscious man in Beverly Hills. Every time I return to these scenes, I feel the same mixture of laughter and quiet admiration. The Clampetts are not playing at war. Inside the logic the show has granted them, they are preparing to defend the only home and the only history that have ever made sense to them. The livestock operation is the first and most tangible sign that ordinary domestic life has been suspended. Granny's orders are crisp and absolute. Every animal must be counted and hidden in the cellar because Yankee soldiers will steal them. Even a bear is not exempt from the concern, though she notes with a touch of historical bitterness that bears have been scarce in Georgia ever since Sherman's retreat to the sea. The revision of Sherman's march into a retreat is delivered without emphasis. As simple fact. Irene Ryan does not underline the line for comic effect. She simply speaks from inside a private history that has never accepted the official geography of defeat. I never hear the reference without a small thrill of recognition. The series is once again allowing Granny's cosmology to reshape the physical world around her, and the physical world, pigs, chickens, whatever creatures the Clampetts have accumulated, is being rearranged accordingly. The practical details of the concealment are handled with the show's characteristic blend of the homely and the absurd. Animals are herded through the mansion at 3 o'clock in the morning. Jed, attempting to sleep, is drawn into the disruption and receives the explanation with the exhausted patience that Buddy Ebsen made into an art form. When he asks what all the critters are doing in the house, Granny's answer is both logical and impossible. They are hiding the livestock from Grant's army. In the hills there were woods and swamps for such purposes. In Beverly Hills one must make do with the cellar. The line captures the entire immigrant experience of the Clampetts in miniature. They have brought the necessities of their old life into a landscape that offers no natural support for them, and they simply adapt the new landscape to the old necessities. The cellar becomes a swamp, the mansion becomes a temporary fortress. The adjustment is made without complaint, and without any sense that the world ought to be otherwise. I have always been moved by the quiet seriousness with which the family executes these preparations. There is comedy in the image of pigs being ushered through a Beverly Hills living room, of course, but the comedy is grounded in genuine urgency. Ellie Mae and Jethro follow orders without irony. They understand that Granny's commands in this domain are not open to debate. The blue-legged sergeant, whatever strange remnant or toy or costumed figure is being left on display, is positioned as a psychological deterrent, the sight of a Yankee uniform calculated to stampede any northern foragers. The detail is so specific and so completely inside Granny's strategic thinking that it feels like something borrowed from a real manual of irregular warfare. The series never explains it further. It simply allows the object to stand as evidence of a mind that has already moved several steps beyond the immediate crisis. Jed's resistance to the entire enterprise remains the emotional counterweight that keeps the sequence from tipping into pure farce. When he attempts to reason with Granny, pointing out the improbable age of any living General Grant, questioning the strategic value of attacking Los Angeles, his arguments are sound by any external measure. Granny's replies absorb the objections without yielding an inch. Grant's longevity is explained by Virginia tobacco and Tennessee whiskey. The choice of Beverly Hills as a battlefield is explained by the cover of Smog. Each answer is delivered with the calm of a woman who has already incorporated every possible contradiction into a larger and more resilient truth. Buddy Ebsen plays Jed's growing wariness with such understated precision that I always feel a pang of sympathy for both combatants. He cannot break her conviction. She cannot understand his refusal to stand with his family at the moment of crisis. The stalemate between them is old and loving and completely unresolved. The turning point of the sequence and one of the most delicious moral reversals the series ever staged arrives with Mr. Drysdale. I have never stopped enjoying the speed and the transparency with which Raymond Bailey's character calculates his position. He learns that Granny is preparing to do battle with the Union Army. He understands that her goodwill is essential to the continued presence of the Clampett fortune in his bank. Within minutes, he has decided that the only safe course is to enlist in her cause. The transformation from banker to Confederate general is accomplished with the same opportunistic energy he once brought to the invention of Moneyman. By the time he presents himself at the mansion, he has become General Milburn Beauregard, Nathan Bedford Stonewall Drysdale, complete with uniform military genealogy and a solemn declaration that he stands on the side of truth, justice, honor, and victory. The scene of his enlistment is a masterclass in the collision of motives. Granny receives him as the first true volunteer to rally to the Southern standard. She is genuinely moved. In her eyes, he has chosen principle over personal comfort, and she honors the choice without suspicion. Drysdale, for his part, is careful to perform the role with complete commitment while never losing sight of the financial stakes. When he announces that he has brought his orderly Miss Jane, looking deeply uncomfortable in the part of Private Hathaway, the absorption of the bank's staff into the Confederate ranks is complete. Nancy Culp's expression in these moments is a quiet comic treasure. She understands exactly how preposterous the situation is, and she also understands that her employment depends on following the general's lead. I find myself returning often to the peculiar integrity of Drysdale's performance in this sequence. He is not converted to Granny's historical vision. He is simply willing to inhabit it for as long as the inhabiting serves his interests. The series allows that calculation to remain visible without ever reducing him to a mere cartoon of greed. When he stands before Granny and declares his allegiance, there is a flicker of real feeling in the performance, perhaps the feeling of a man who has spent so many years managing the Clampetts that he has begun against his own better judgment to care about their regard. Raymond Bailey always knew how to let that flicker show without sentimentalizing it. The result is a character who remains self-interested and yet never becomes wholly unsympathetic. The formal acceptance of Drysdale into the cause produces one of the sequence's most purely satisfying comic tableaux. The family now possesses a general of its own. Ellie Mae and Jethro have their roles. Miss Jane has been drafted as an orderly. The livestock is secured. The mansion has been placed on a war footing. Granny moves through the preparations with the focused energy of a commander who has waited a lifetime for the chance to act. When she speaks of meeting Grant face to face, the desire is personal and absolute. When she offers a pre-battle drink from her personal stores, the gesture carries both hospitality and a quiet assertion of mountain medical authority. The fact that Drysdale declines, citing an empty stomach, and the need to keep a clear head only underscores the different registers in which the two characters are operating. What lingers with me longest is the way the sequence allows the Clampetts' private war to become briefly a collective enterprise. Jed remains skeptical and largely withdrawn. Everyone else is drawn into the gravitational field of Granny's conviction. The house itself seems to expand to accommodate the new purpose. Hallways become supply routes. The cellar becomes a sanctuary for the living wealth of the family. The ordinary objects of domestic life are reassigned to military functions. I never watch these transformations without a sense of wonder at the series' ability to make the rearrangement feel both ridiculous and strangely logical. Inside the world the show has built, this is simply what the Clampetts do when the past they carry is threatened. They mobilize. They adapt the materials at hand. They stand together even when the threat exists only inside one unyielding imagination. As the preparations reach their temporary completion and the family stands ready for the dawn attack that may or may not come, I feel the particular satisfaction that only this series reliably delivers. The world has been disordered by an idea. The disorder has been met with energy, loyalty, and an almost heroic refusal to find the situation funny. The comedy arises around the characters rather than at their expense. Granny's alarm has become a full-scale household operation. Mr. Drysdale has found a new role that temporarily aligns his interests with hers. The livestock is safe in the cellar. And somewhere in Beverly Hills, a Hollywood production continues its own preparations, completely unaware that it is about to collide with a Confederate resistance that has been waiting 100 years for the chance to fight again. I have carried the image of the Clampett mansion at 3 o'clock in the morning, animals moving through the halls, an old woman issuing orders, a banker newly minted as a general, through many seasons of my own life. It reminds me that the stories we refuse to abandon can still rearrange the furniture of the present. It reminds me that loyalty can look like folly and still be loyalty. And it reminds me above all, that the Beverly Hillbillies at its best is willing to grant its characters the full dignity of their convictions, even when those convictions turn a quiet Beverly Hills night into the eve of a war that never ended. Granny Moses is ready. The cause has been rallied. The battle, whether it exists or not, is about to begin. I have never watched The Charge at Culpeper Plantation without feeling a peculiar double vision settle over me, as if I am seeing two films projected onto the same screen at the same time. On one screen, a Hollywood company is rehearsing a Civil War battle under the exasperated direction of a technical advisor who has just been forced to take over after the original director walked off. On the other screen, a family of mountain people led by an elderly woman who has never accepted the official ending of that war, is launching a genuine counterattack against what they believe to be a renewed northern invasion. The genius of the sequence is that both screens are equally real to the people inside them, and the collision that follows is one of the most sustained and exhilarating pieces of comic staging the series ever achieved. The approach to the plantation is already charged with the full weight of Granny's conviction. She has gathered her forces. Jethro is armed with the squirrel rifle and the ladyfinger ammunition, Ellie Mae prepared for his journey. Mr. Drysdale, now fully inhabiting the role of General Milburn Beauregard Nathan Bedford Stonewall, Drysdale has been positioned as the nominal leader of the charge, even though every practical decision continues to flow from Granny. Miss Jane trails behind as the reluctant orderly. The little procession moves through the quiet streets of Beverly Hills with the solemnity of a force that believes history itself is about to be rewritten. I never see them set out without a tightening in my chest. They are walking into a movie set. They believe they are walking into a war. Meanwhile, on the plantation grounds, the film company is conducting its own troubled rehearsal. The actor playing General Grant, hungover, unsteady, and increasingly unwilling to perform the death-defying charge required of him, is being bullied through successive takes by Colonel Blake, who has assumed directing duties out of necessity. The physical comedy on this side of the collision is already rich. The actor cannot ride. He cannot remember the sequence of actions. He keeps requesting a white flag instead of a white horse. Colonel Blake's patience is fraying in real time. When he orders the cannon to be prepared and the sniper on the roof to shoot the hat from Grant's head, the machinery of Hollywood make-believe is operating at full, slightly desperate capacity. The audience knows that none of the gunfire is real. The Clampetts do not. The moment of impact when Granny's force first encounters the costumed Union troops is handled with the show's characteristic refusal to hurry. There is a brief, almost courtly exchange in which the Clampetts offer encouragement to men they take for fellow Confederates. The actors for their part register the newcomers as either late extras or local eccentrics. The two groups pass each other in mutual incomprehension, and the real collision is only delayed by a few precious minutes. I have always admired the patience of this staging. The series understands that the comedy will be richer if both sides are allowed to remain coherent inside their own frames for as long as possible. When the shooting starts in earnest, the sequence achieves a kind of controlled bedlam that still amazes me. Granny hears the cannon and the blank gunfire and immediately interprets them as the opening of the northern attack. Her response is instantaneous. The family moves forward on foot to turn the enemy's flank. Drysdale, whose courage has always been largely theoretical, finds himself being urged into the role of frontline leader with promises of a hero's grave if he should fall. The gap between his self-image as a dashing general and his actual desire to be anywhere else is played by Raymond Bailey with exquisite comic discomfort. When he finally attempts to lead, the attempt is brief and largely vertical. He is not so much charging as being carried forward by the momentum of Granny's will. The Lady Fingers make their second and most glorious appearance in the series here. Ellie Mae's delicate cookies, originally intended as a snack for a soldier's journey, are loaded into the squirrel rifle and fired with deadly seriousness at the actor playing Grant. The image of Irene Ryan drawing a bead and declaring that she has hit the man in the liver is one I have never forgotten. The fact that the ammunition is pastry does not diminish the intensity of the intention. In Granny's mind, she is bringing down the most hated figure of her private historical universe. The actor, struck by flying cookies and already unsteady from the previous night's excesses, goes down in a heap that looks from a distance like a legitimate battlefield casualty. The confusion on the film set multiplies. Colonel Blake is trying to maintain control of a rehearsal that has suddenly been invaded by civilians who appear to be shooting his lead actor with some form of soft but accurate projectile. What elevates the sequence beyond simple slapstick is the absolute commitment of every performer to the reality of their own character's understanding. Max Baer Jr. Jethro fights with the same earnest energy he once brought to underwater demolition and lunar travel. Donna Douglas's Ellie Mae reloads and covers her grandmother with the calm efficiency of a girl who has spent her life handling animals and firearms with equal competence. Buddy Ebsen's Jed remains largely on the periphery, the one member of the family who suspects the true nature of the proceedings but cannot yet prove it. And at the center of it all, Irene Ryan moves like a woman who has been waiting a century for this exact opportunity. Her physicality is extraordinary. She is small and elderly and completely unstoppable. When she declares that she wants Grant taken alive so that she can deal with him personally, the threat carries real heat. The actor playing Grant, already suffering through one of the worst professional days of his life, finds himself being captured by an old woman with a squirrel rifle and a personal grudge that has nothing to do with the script. The moment when Granny shifts from combatant to physician is one of the sequence's quiet masterstrokes. Having brought the man down, she immediately produces her rheumatism medicine and begins treating him for what she believes is a liver wound. The same hands that fired the ladyfingers now offer the mountain cure. The actor, dazed and half convinced he is still inside some elaborate practical joke, is in no condition to refuse. The series allows the medical intervention to play out with complete seriousness. In Granny's mind, the battle is over and the duties of a doctor have begun. The fact that she is dosing a hungover actor with the same green liquor that once powered a homemade rocket only deepens the circular perfection of the arc. I have always been struck by how carefully the show manages the geography of the collision. The plantation grounds are large enough for the film company to continue its work in one area while the Clampetts prosecute their war in another. The two actions overlap, separate, and overlap again like weather systems. At certain moments, the actors believe the newcomers are part of the rehearsal. At other moments, the Clampetts believe the actors are genuine Union troops falling back under pressure. The audience is permitted to hold both interpretations at once, and the pleasure of that double vision is considerable. Few sitcoms of the period trusted their viewers so completely with the management of simultaneous realities. Raymond Bailey's Drysdale reaches a comic peak during the chaos. Having declared himself ready to meet Grant face to face, he discovers that the actual business of meeting Grant face to face involves running, shouting, and the real possibility of being struck by flying pastry or blank cartridges. His attempts to maintain the dignity of his invented rank while simultaneously looking for an exit are among the most purely enjoyable pieces of physical comedy the character ever performed. When he finally attempts to claim credit for the Southern success, the claim is undercut by every visible fact of the engagement. Granny has directed the battle. Jethro and Ellie may have executed it, Drysdale has mostly tried to survive it. The series allows him the dignity of his self-deception without ever letting the audience forget the truth. As the immediate fighting dies down and the two groups begin to sort themselves into a single confused mass of people, I always feel a complex tenderness for everyone involved. The film company has just watched its rehearsal destroyed by civilians who seem to know the historical material better than some of the paid performers. The Clampetts have just won a battle that never existed against an enemy that was only acting. Colonel Blake is trying to regain control of a set that has slipped into genuine disorder. Granny is preparing to interrogate and then medically treat the man she believes to be Ulysses S. Grant. The emotional temperature of the scene is higher than simple farce. Something like real stakes has been approached, even if the stakes exist only inside one family's private history. I have carried the image of that charge, the small figure of Granny advancing across the plantation lawns, the squirrel rifle steady, the ladyfingers, flying, the costumed actors scattering in genuine confusion through many years of re-watching. It reminds me that the most powerful wars are sometimes the ones that exist entirely inside a single unbroken conviction. It reminds me that Hollywood make-believe and mountain memory can occupy the same ground and still fail to recognize each other. And it reminds me above all that the Beverly Hillbillies at its most ambitious is willing to stage a full-scale battle for the sake of an old woman's refusal to surrender the past. The charge at Culpeper is ridiculous. It is also in its own fierce and hilarious way magnificent. Every time the family advances across those lawns, I advance with them, laughing and holding my breath and believing for as long as the scene lasts, that the outcome of the war between the states might still be undecided. There are scenes in the long arc of the Beverly Hillbillies that feel less like comedy, and more like the fulfillment of a private prophecy and the capture and subsequent medical treatment of the man Granny believes to be General Ulysses S. Grant belongs at the very center of that category for me. I have returned to this sequence across decades of rewatching, and each time I feel the same quiet astonishment at how completely the series is willing to honor an old woman's historical faith, even while surrounding it with the most extravagant physical comedy. What began as a misunderstanding at a reserve headquarters has now produced a living prisoner of war on the lawns of a Hollywood plantation set, and the prisoner is about to receive the full force of Granny Moses's mountain medicine and mountain justice. The moment of capture itself is pure Irene Ryan. Having brought the actor down with a well-aimed volley of Ellie Mae's ladyfingers, Granny advances with the calm authority of a woman who has just completed a necessary military action. There is no gloating in her demeanor, only the practical satisfaction of a job finished. She has wanted Grant taken alive. She has succeeded. Now the duties of a combatant give way to the duties of a physician. The transition is seamless and completely in character. The same hands that loaded the squirrel rifle now produce the bottle of rheumatism medicine, the same green liquor that once powered a homemade rocket, and once convinced her she was being attacked by a sea serpent. The continuity of the object is one of the series' quiet formal pleasures. Everything in the Clampett world is eventually reused, nothing is wasted, not even the chaos. The medical intervention that follows is one of the most richly layered pieces of comic business the show ever attempted. Granny diagnoses a liver wound sustained, she believes, after 150 years of hard living. The actor, already suffering from a monumental hangover and the general disorientation of a day that has slipped completely out of his control, is in no condition to argue. He accepts the medicine, true to its history, begins to work its particular transformation. Within minutes, the boundary between the role he has been playing and the historical figure he has been impersonating starts to dissolve. I never watch The Shift without a feeling of deep narrative satisfaction. The series has taken the classic sitcom device of the mistaken identity and pushed it one step further. The imposter begins to believe the imposture. What follows is a conversation that still strikes me as one of the boldest and most tender experiments the series ever conducted. The actor, now thoroughly under the influence of Granny's brew and the residual adrenaline of the morning's violence, begins to speak as Grant. He apologizes for Vicksburg. He offers to give back Richmond. He promises to have Sherman shot for the burning of Atlanta. Each concession is received by Granny with the stern satisfaction of a victor dictating terms. Irene Ryan plays these moments with an absolute refusal of irony. She is not humoring a drunk actor. She is accepting the long-delayed surrender of the man who in her private cosmology has been the principal agent of Southern suffering. The emotional temperature of the scene is higher than the surrounding comedy can quite contain. Something like real historical grievance is being aired. Even if the grievance is being aired to a man who only hours earlier was complaining about having to ride a horse. I have always been moved by the particular form of mercy Granny extends once the medical and military formalities are complete. She does not exact further punishment. She paroles her prisoner. The language of the parole is formal and exact, drawn from the deep well of Civil War memory she has kept alive. He is to refrain from further uprisings against the South. He is to avoid the company of men like Sheridan and Sherman. He is to live peacefully. The conditions are absurd when measured against the reality of a Hollywood actor with a hangover. They are completely serious when measured against the reality Granny inhabits. The series allows both measurements to stand. That double allowance is the source of the scene's lasting power. The actor's gradual emergence from the fog of the medicine produces some of the sequence's most delicate comic effects. There are moments when he seems to remember that he is not in fact Ulysses S. Grant. There are other moments when the residual effects of the liquor and the intensity of Granny's conviction pull him back under. The performance walks a careful line between confusion and temporary conversion. I have always admired how the show refuses to resolve the ambiguity too quickly. For a few precious minutes we are permitted to inhabit a space in which the historical Grant might actually be sitting on a Beverly Hills lawn, apologizing for the decisions of a war that ended a century earlier. The pleasure of that permission is considerable. Meanwhile, the rest of the family and the film company are attempting to sort the morning's events into some kind of coherent narrative. Colonel Blake recognizes that the old woman who has just captured his lead actor is the same force of nature he has been warned about. Jed understands that the truth of the situation, if revealed too bluntly, will break something in Granny that he is not willing to break. Miss Jane and Drysdale hover at the edges, calculating their own positions in the rapidly shifting emotional landscape. The decision that forms among them is characteristic of the series at its most protective. They will not tell Granny that she has captured an actor. They will allow her the victory. The choice is made without speeches and without sentimentality. It is simply understood that some truths are less important than the dignity of the person who would be wounded by them. I find myself returning often to the image of Granny sitting with her prisoner, the bottle of medicine between them, the formal language of parole still hanging in the air. It is an image that contains almost everything the series believes about history, memory, and mercy. The war she has been fighting is real to her. The victory she has achieved is real to her. The series, rather than correcting her, chooses to step inside that reality long enough to let it complete itself. The decision is both comic and strangely moving. In a medium that often treats the elderly as sources of uncomplicated laughter, the Beverly Hillbillies insists that an old woman's private history deserves a full and serious hearing, even when that history collides spectacularly with the present. The physical aftermath of the capture is handled with the show's customary attention to small telling details. The actor is still picking crumbs of ladyfinger from his clothing. The squirrel rifle is reloaded and then set aside. The rheumatism medicine is corked and returned to Granny's keeping. Each object carries the memory of the violence it has just participated in, and each object is quietly restored to its place in the ongoing domestic life of the family. I never watch these small restorations without a feeling of gratitude. The series understands that the world must be put back together after even the most necessary battles, and it performs the restoration with care. There is a final exchange between Granny and her prisoner that I have always cherished. Having secured his parole, she permits herself a moment of almost personal reflection. She observes that for a 150-year-old cigar-smoking, whiskey-drinking, South-scorching Yankee general, he is not a bad sort. The line is delivered with the weary fairness of a woman who has spent a lifetime studying an enemy and has finally met him. The actor, still half inside the role, accepts the judgment as if it were his due. For a moment, the two of them inhabit a shared historical space that exists nowhere else on Earth. Then the moment passes, the medicine continues to wear off, and the ordinary world begins to reassert itself. I have carried the image of that parole through many years of my own life. It reminds me that the victories we need most are sometimes the ones that exist only inside a single unbroken story. It reminds me that mercy can look like folly and still be mercy. And it reminds me above all that the Beverly Hillbillies at its finest is willing to stage the formal surrender of the Civil War on a Hollywood lawn for the sake of an old woman who never accepted the first surrender. Granny Moses has captured General Grant, she has treated his wounds. She has taken his parole. In the moral universe of the series, those facts are sufficient. The rest of the world can adjust itself accordingly.